Craft computing.
All right. And I think we're live now.
I'm going to set a reminder here to watch. And we can go now.
Okay. Are you ready?
Hang on. Yes,
okay.
I am.
Okay.
Now we can go.
You got your white balance set. We're all good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Check. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 143, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show on this Wednesday night. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've never seen the show before, this is our once weekly live show. We talk beer, we talk tech. However, we do drink beer on the show. However, we do keep the content as family friendly as possible in both language and content. If you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know early in the show and we'll give some early show shout outs in the chat. And there was one other thing I usually say. You'd think I'd have this down by now.
Yeah, you'd think you'd almost like have it like scripted or something.
Right.
Let us know what you're drinking in chat for
I did that.
Yeah.
Early show shout outs.
Did you talk about the super chats?
Super chats will be read on the air. Speaking of which, Novella Hub early in with a $10 super chat. It's my birthday today. Crack open the beers I sent. One of the beers I sent you, Craft Computing. I might have to dig into one of those. Although those are the reason I haven't opened those beers is he sent me growlettes, and so they're 32-ounce cans. And literally, I opened them. I think the week after we went into lockdown, and so I haven't had anyone to drink with. So if I felt like drinking one beer tonight, I would totally open one of those. But as it is, I'm going to be pushing it opening two tonight because yes. Oh man, do I have a good one to start with. John, what are you drinking tonight?
I am. It is very, very hot in my garage.
I see that. You're kind of glistening.
Yes, I know. I'm like looking for my bar rag. So I needed something. I thought I was going to enjoy something pretty light. So I'm going to go with a Vienna style lager. I've never heard of this brewery before. And I kind of just picked it up on a whim at the bottle shop. Like, oh, I don't see Vienna lagers too often here, especially in the Pacific Northwest. It's always just, big hot bomb IPAs, stuff like that. Right. And so I was like, I'm going to get this because I do love a good malty lager.
Very nice. So again, I mentioned I'm drinking a fairly heavy beer tonight. This one's actually from the stock that Jason sent me over in his care pack / settlement. So this is from Curbs Brewing in, McAlester, Oklahoma. This is the Prairie Artisan Ales Pirate Bomb. Now, for those who haven't heard of this is a series of bomb beers from
Prairie.
Curbs Brewing. Yeah, from Prairie. And this one is an imperial stout aged in rum barrels with coffee. With coffee, cacao nibs, vanilla beans, and chilies added, clocking in at 15%. This is a heavy one.
Yes. I mean, that's essentially 3 of my beers.
Yes. Oh, and this is a 12er.
Yes. Well, yeah. So I have the 355 bottle, but it's coming in at only 5%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 3 times
16 ounces though.
3 times the ethanol in 2/3 the package size.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is a big one. I was telling John before the show, I tonight felt like a barley wine kind of night. Like I wanted a beer with a meal in a bottle. I wanted, a beer with a little chutzpah behind it. But the only barley wines that I have are like $40 a bottle. And I wasn't going to crack one of those open tonight. That and they're, 14, 15, 16 percenters and they're bombers. And so they're 24, 26 ounces. I went, no. And then I found this and I went, 12 ounce, I could do that. So let's go ahead and crack these open and we'll get this show on the road.
All right. Do you want to do yours or mine first?
Let's go ahead and do yours and I'll get my bottle opener ready here.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Nice.
So I'm pretty sure your camera is finding your face through the refraction, and because it kept like zooming in and out, but then it would focus just beyond the beer on like the reflection in the back of the glass.
Yeah, I haven't set the face priority.
The face
so it's like,
effect,
oh, I see something in there with eyes.
Yeah. Let's lock in on that. So it looks good.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
It's multi. It is definitely more of that something you would probably expect in Germany, Europe. It is, I will state, like I said, it is warm in my garage, and I was early today, and so it's been sitting already in my garage for like 15 minutes, and it has felt. It tastes like it has. It's already.
It's no longer 35. It's like 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it is a very nice, thick tasting lager with nice malt flavor to it.
Very nice. All right. So let's get this pirate bomb opened up.
Ooh, I like that.
Boy, you can smell the chili right on the top of that thing.
I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those, because the couple of bombs I've had, I was like, wow, they're not overpowerful with the heat, but you could taste the heat.
You know it's there.
Yeah,
right.
You definitely know it's there.
Oh, God, yeah, especially in the glass now. Kind of catches you off guard, even when you're expecting it. Oh, that is good. Ooh, wow. And that's a really dangerous 15%.
Oh, yeah, all of those are. I mean, they probably drink like 8 or 9s.
This drinks like an 8.
Yeah.
Legit, this drinks like a Black Butte Porter.
Yeah, no. They're...
Which is a 6.5? 6?
6? Yeah, I think something like that. This thing just... See, this is the shot. I need B-roll of this type stuff, or just nice, super hot. Still getting my face.
I know.
Super bubbly.
Yeah, that is good. A little bit bigger swig, and you get just a little bit of a tinge of heat on your tongue. But like you said, it is nothing even close to overpowering. Boy, that is a dangerous drink. I like that. All right. Let's get this show on the road. A little bit of Intel news to start us off.
Yeah.
Because they are really the big story of the week. Not just because, to us, they're a local company. It's an Oregon company. But Intel... I titled this Stunning Failure because that's exactly what Bloomberg called it in their expose on this. Intel's stunning failure at chip development, and the fact they are likely going to be outsourcing chip fabrication to TSMC starting like now. So for those who haven't heard the news, Intel has basically said, we failed. Last week they said their 7 nanometer and 10 nanometer chips were both going to be delayed. 10 nanometer until at least middle of next year, if not late to like Q4 next year.
Yep.
And 7 nanometer would not be appearing until at least 2023 now. Which, if you remember right, 7 nanometer was supposed to appear in 2017. So they have been on the same 14 nanometer fab now for 5 years. And they have pushed 7 nanometer back year over year, every single year. Because they can't get their 7 nanometer fab stable. They can't get a good yield out of them. And they've kind of reached the point where they said, we have to give up. And that's never a good place for a company to be. That's never something that they want to say out loud, let alone make public.
Yeah. Well, this is also, I think, the first time in 30 years they've ever had to even go outside of their own company.
Right.
So,
well, they've had TSMC do some fabs for them before as far as chipsets, and they've also done some FPGAs, but it is certainly not the bulk of their manufacturing.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Intel is the second largest chip maker in the world, second, I believe, to TSMC. And most of those fabs are made right here in the States. I mean, we have a plant here in Oregon, and their corporate headquarters is here in Oregon, up in Hillsboro. They've got a plant in New Mexico. They've got another one in Arizona. And they were rolling a new one out, I believe, in Ireland, in Dublin. But who knows if that is still going to happen. But or if they'll spin it into something else. Maybe they'll start producing graphics cards there. Who knows? But all we know right now is Intel has pretty much said we're not doing well. Yeah. And this was kind of speculated on like, we heard some rumblings that they might be looking at TSMC. Well, then TSMC made public, no, we already have a deal. Like, they've already placed an order. So we'll be making their chips as soon as like this fall. I don't know if Intel really wanted that news to come out yet. But basically on the news of this, Intel stock dropped 16% and TSMC rose 10%. Now again, Intel is one of the largest fabs in the world, and they produce hundreds of millions of chips per year. But TSMC has really caught and surpassed them, producing on the order of magnitude billions of chips a year. Billions of chips per year. Sorry, I slurred like 4 words in a row there. I told you this is kind of a deceptive beer. But because Intel has not been able to push their fabs forward, it allowed TSMC to catch them. And not only catch them, but surpass them by multiple generations at this point. Because Intel had planned on 10 nanometer being kind of a stopgap until they hit 7. Well, AMD jumped from 14 to kind of 12 for like 9 months, and then went straight to 7, and probably beyond here in the very near future. And Intel is still kind of left, holding their own tail. So it's not a good look. And for those who thought, there's a couple people out there who probably still thought, well, Intel still has something. They'll still drop something at some point. This was kind of the final. Intel doesn't have any.
We don't get anything. Right. I don't. Now, wasn't it rumored that Samsung was getting into chip with them or something like that?
No, Samsung has been going pretty hard with their own ARM architecture for quite some time, and as we know, Apple just decided to go ARM and ditch Intel, kind of left Intel at the altar, which also hurt Intel stock significantly.
And that might have been what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so everyone's been kind of dropping Intel left and right, and we've been seeing for the last year, or at least since Zen 2 architecture dropped, especially with EPYC. Like I said, we like to think consumers have the say in what goes on, and profits and losses for the industry. Consumer chips are not nearly the profit centers that the enterprise is, though. And the fact that EPYC has been outselling Intel top to bottom across their entire stack really says something, because HP is now making EPYC boxes, and Dell is making EPYC boxes, and Supermicro was always doing AMD systems, but I know the numbers have been much, much higher on AMD systems than they have been Intel lately. And the consumer market reflects that. The consumer market goes where the enterprise market goes. And if you're winning in the enterprise market, you're probably going to win in the consumer space too. I'm
very curious to see of what next year, what prices of Intel chips will be. Used chips, and then latest model chips of what they're going to be asking. Are they still going to be asking the same price and still basically saying we're still number one,
right?
Technically.
Well, it was really funny. So Linus Tech came out with a video earlier today on some prototype light guns that work with LCDs, OLEDs, plasma screens, CRTs, everything. They work on a different technology. And so all your old MAME and emulation games will now work on flat panel screens, which is awesome. But they were talking about the CPU utilization, and they were doing this on like a mobile i3 5th generation chip. So like many, many years old. I mean, we're talking back to, 2015 as this came out, 2014, 2015. And it was a 15 watt mobile part that was running this thing. And they made the comment of, well, you know, a modern gaming chip is going to run circles around this as far as, you know, performance goes. So, you know, a single thread on a modern chip is going to be that much faster. And Anthony said something along the lines of, well, that and the architectural improvements. And Linus goes, I don't think Intel's had any architectural improvements since 5th gen. And so even in like a light gun, you know, they got a little dig in. And I've gotten a couple digs in like that as well, you know, on this show, saying, boy, Intel's been, you know, for a while they were doing the TikTok thing where it was fab increase and then, you know, optimization, and then fab increase and then optimization. And then they said, well, TikTok is dead. We think that's lame. And so we're just going to go like more optimization route, which is 14 nanometer plus. And then we got plus, and then we got plus, and then we got plus.
It was every time was here's 15%,
Right.
That's all you need.
Right. Well, it was not even that. It was 8% max year over year on flagship parts. And all it was because they got higher clock speeds. I mean, this is the same architecture since Sandy Bridge. It's been an iteration of the Sandy Bridge architecture since 2011. So the architecture's good. It's not that it's not. The problem is they can't refine it down to the next level to get the next level of performance out of it. They can't drop it from 14 to 10 and get more efficient. They can't drop it from 10 to 7 and boost performance out of it. You know, they have some 10 nanometer chips on the market right now. They're 15 watt dual core mobile chips. That's all they can produce at scale. And when you're talking about, you know, producing dies that are, you know, die fabs that are, you know, fairly large, that's not a good scale.
No. Oh, sorry, it's really hot in here. Remember that
Sorry,
time?
This is a really good beer.
Remember that time you and Steve talk about your attic? That's what it feels like in here.
Oh God, yeah. If you want to watch how hot it was in my garage, I have one video that was ever filmed in my garage at my old house, and it's my average gamer's PC. What is the average PC on Steam?
Yeah.
And that was the week after I moved out of your bar and started filming at my house. I'm like, I'll just make a studio in my garage. That sounds amazing, right?
Yeah, that's where everyone starts.
Right. It was 105 degrees outside the day that I decided to film that. I started filming at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm pretty sure it was still like 99 degrees in my garage. And so the whole time I had my garage door, you know, cracked open about a third of the way, and I would shoot for about 4 minutes, and that's all I could stand. And then I would walk inside and stand in front of a box fan for the next 10 minutes. And then I'd walk out and do the next take. And so in between scenes, you can see my hair doing like different things. It's like it blew this way this time and now it's up over here. Yeah. It's because it was 99 degrees the day I filmed that video. And I will say your background looks much nicer, but I understand the feeling.
Yes.
I really do.
Oh, this is very hot. I'm in like shorts and like I really want to wipe my brow. I'm starting to glisten.
I know the feeling, John. I mean, it's 71 in my office right now, and I'm just sweltering. You're suffering there. I know. I've got this LED light on me. It's a little too bright.
God, it's really only about like just a hair too bright.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
I'm suffering. So hard.
The best artists suffer for their craft, John.
You're like, this is such a hard studio shooting. That's why I needed this 15% beer.
That's right. Well, I have the temperature limit to afford it.
I suffer for all of my fans.
You know, in a way, this is kind of the difference between AMD and Intel right now, because, you know, you're kind of Intel. You're stuck at that 14 nanometer. We know you're the better of the two of us, you know, but you're also running at like 98% of your peak efficiency.
Yeah, and I'm about to overheat.
And the wattage is just to the extreme. Meanwhile, it's 71 degrees here, and you know, I'm going to take it a little bit slower, but at the same time, man, it's nice and comfortable. It's quiet in here.
Yeah, but I got a sweet cooler. I need that giant refrigerator hookup.
Meanwhile, I'm just cranking through this 15%er, and you're 5% on your Photoshop render.
This is all warm now.
My beer's still cold.
What's funny is my beer is probably the temperature your beer should be.
It's probably right. Like, this is still just a hair too cold. Like, I'm starting to get a couple more flavors out of it now. So.
My legs are now sweating too. Great.
Anyway, we're gonna keep the show moving tonight. Let's see. I didn't give any early beer shout outs, so let's scroll back up in the chat here just a little bit. Let's see. Skull was drinking a Hubbard's Cave Brewing iced mocha, coffee and pastry stout.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Novella Hub is having a Toppling Goliath Sun Reaper.
Ooh, nice.
I do like Toppling Goliath.
Yes. Mr. Cortez drinking a Monkey Shoulder and Guinness. Nothing fancy.
How is that not fancy?
I like a good Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah.
Lagunitas Little Something from Steve Gunnick. Very nice. TK Oz Voodoo Ranger 1985 IPA. Right up your alley.
Yeah, I really like. Did you ever get to try that one yet?
I haven't tried that one yet. I've seen it a couple of times, but I've never picked one up. And
even Steve tried it, and now it does state there is I think it's mango flavoring in it, so it is probably got some juice or something in it to give it much more of a juicy characteristic. It's not just the hops, but honestly, I don't care. It actually tastes, I think, really refreshing. I think it's probably one of the best Voodoo Rangers that came out. Even Steve agreed with that. He's like, he hates New Belgium, but he's like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, see, I'll drink a New Belgium, but it's certainly not my favorite beer. It's not even a go-to or any. I see it on tap, with like the 4 or 5 other standards that you see. I'm seriously questioning, if I need a beer right then.
Yeah. No, I'll probably buy like a Voodoo or a New Belgian variety pack if it's on sale. And they're like, oh, there's one specialty beer that comes in with this, and I was like, okay, I'll buy the pack because it is this. But yeah, and I usually buy a single Voodoo Ranger every time it comes out, but it's just a 12-ounce can.
Right. So. And I'll try whatever they come out with. But like I said, I've seen the 1985. I just haven't picked it up yet. But I was had one yesterday. Pelican has a hazy juicy. I don't know if you've had that one at all.
I don't remember which one that one is.
It's a bright blue can. You really can't miss it. But yeah, it's I think they just call it their juicy IPA, but it's a hazy juicy.
I think I saw it and I never got it.
It's actually pretty solid. I mean, for just like a standard Pelican.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, no, actually,
I've been really enjoying that one.
Pelican, for their price, make pretty decent. I think I bought, there's like a 6-pack of their Beak Breaker, which is their Imperial, and it ended up being like only $6 for a 6-pack. So it was $1 a beer. And I was like, you can't beat 8.6% IPA for $1 a beer.
Right. And why is my restream broken? My unified chat isn't picking up anything. Dang it. Oh well, so I'm gonna have to open Discord in another window. Okay, there we go. I'm back on track.
There you go.
Let's see. Someone was making a Long Island iced tea. And then I also saw an Enjoy By on there. John drinking an Enjoy By, 704. So you're a couple weeks late, but still probably a good beer. Christopher made a Long Island iced tea. Sakura's drinking motor oil.
Nice.
Sounds like him. Yeah. I think we're all caught up now. All right.
I think so.
Let's move right along to a little ransomware talk.
Yeah. Now Jeff, you have smartwatches, right? Or smart mobile GPS devices?
I've had a couple different smartwatches. I kind of stopped wearing it since I don't work anymore.
Yeah.
I don't need to see my email all the time anymore, which is amazing.
You don't need to see those notifications at all?
I don't. I was a massive Pebble user for quite a while. I had a Pebble Steel that I wore for 2.5 years almost until they got bought out by, was it Garmin or was it the other?
I thought it was Garmin.
Company. Might have been Garmin that bought Pebble. I can't remember.
Hence why I made this segue.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, I had a Pebble. Pebble Steel, loved that watch. But my wife actually does have a Garmin smartwatch, and she mentioned to me like a couple hours after I read this story that, hey, do you know of anything going on with Garmin? I went, well, yeah. And she goes, oh, my watch isn't working. And I'm like, oh, right. You do have a Garmin watch, don't you? Her analog and her digital time were off on her watch.
Oh,
so
weird.
it was syncing with her smartphone, but her time had scrambled. And so her analog was like 15 minutes ahead and her digital was 10 minutes behind or something like that. Where they were just completely different times, not even like related to one another anymore. And apparently that relies on something to sync with Garmin. So that was one of the services that died. But anyway, Garmin apparently suffered a pretty significant outage that is still kind of ongoing. They're still not 100% back up. But they weren't all that forthcoming immediately with what caused it. So early Monday morning, Garmin services just went offline. Yeah. Just stopped working. No authentication, no syncing services, no application syncs running. You couldn't access your account. You couldn't buy anything. You couldn't pay for anything. It was all just dead. And Garmin posted the following. We are currently experiencing an outage that affects Garmin.com and Garmin Connect. This outage also affects our call centers, and we are currently unable to receive any calls, emails, or online chats.
Oh.
We are working to resolve this issue as quickly as possible and apologize for the inconvenience. End quote. However, it leaked out within a couple hours of that notification that Garmin had been ransomwared. And the number of services was staggering. It was basically
all of it.
Everything.
Yep. And
I mean everything. So here's the Connect.com system status. Garmin Connect, Garmin Dive, VivoFit Junior, LiveTrack, Connect IQ, Garmin Golf, activity details and uploads, courses, dashboard, Garmin Coach, reports, Strava, wellness, all of it.
Everything.
Gone. Online store, help desk, call center, gone.
Yeah, well, there was even some crazy ones of like GPS airplane directions. And It's like, oh, gee, you can be screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good one to go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently Garmin got ransomwared. And they still haven't really given a post-mortem on it because they're still in some remediation and recovery steps. So Garmin finally did publish a statement, and they said was this yesterday that it was posted? I guess it was Sunday it went down, and then Monday at 12:30 Eastern.
Yeah, so two days ago.
It was about a day and a half it took them to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So Garmin Limited today announced that it was the victim of a cyber attack that encrypted some of our systems on July 23rd, 2020. So it was actually 4 days later that they announced. I thought this was Sunday, but no, apparently it was Thursday?
Thursday?
Yeah. As a result, many of our online services were interrupted, including website functions, customer support, customer-facing applications, and company communications. We immediately began to assess the nature of the attack and started remediation. We have no indication that any customer data, including payment information from Garmin Pay, was accessed, lost, or stolen. Additionally, the functionality of Garmin products was not affected other than the ability to access online services, which to me kind of affects Garmin product availability and functionality if I can't log in to access said functions. So I love the double PR speaker.
Yeah, if my watch doesn't tell time, it's not working. Well, it's still ticking technically. So
yeah, the watch is still on, so you can still access the local functionality, right? But if it's off by 15 minutes because it can't sync to you,
yeah,
then it's been affected, right? So yeah, I love the double PR speak contradicting itself within the same sentence. Like they didn't even bother, putting a page break in there. Anyway, as of today, they still weren't 100% up. There are still several functions that are not back up and running yet. I know my wife, her watch did finally sync, I think, late last night or early this morning, because when she woke up this morning, it was back on. But I know she has like medication reminders on hers. She has a couple different things that she does use. She uses the fitness tracker. She uses the reminder and whatnot. But yeah, it all started working this morning again. So who knows?
Yeah. And apparently, so it was confirmed that it was the Wasted Locker ransomware that was to blame for this outage. So apparently it's I think they said it was a new kind of ransomware.
Okay.
But I guess it's researched by Malwarebytes back in May. Ooh.
And the ransom was demanding as much as $10 million.
Oh, I love this one though. It was done operated by a hacker group known as Evil Corp. Dun dun dun.
It wasn't invoice.zip.
No, that's how my company does it.
Because that's what I'm betting. I'm betting because that's how this crap spreads.
Oh, it
doesn't. There's no one that hacks in and then ransoms your files. It's a secretary opened an invoice.
Yeah.
That's how all of this spreads. And so someone opened an attachment that they shouldn't have opened.
Yeah. Some admin probably sat there and was like, "Oh, an invoice. Oh, okay, here we go. We get lots of invoices."
Right.
You know, or he was on vacation, so the replacement guy clicked it and said, "Okay, that's fine." And it probably had to have been the time that like their IT department head was like, "I'm gonna go on a vacation today. You know, everything's working great." And then he's packing his bag on his way back, and just red flags everywhere.
Yep.
That's how it always happens for me.
I'm on break.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm not even wearing my watch anymore. So yeah, don't open attachments you don't know who they're from, and make sure your employees know not to do that as well.
Yes, just because it's a zip file, don't have them sit there and say, "Oh, how do I open this file? I've never seen this type of attachment before. I'm going to click link, I'm going to click it and download. If it doesn't install after the fourth time, maybe I'll think about calling IT."
If you happen to be a systems administrator and network security is on your mind, is in your job description, test your employees. Go through a service and phish them and send attachments that let you know who opened said attachment, who deleted it, who reported it, who marked it as spam, who did this, who did that. Lots of invaluable information can be learned by literally phishing your own company. There are some open source tools that allow you to do it yourself. But I did that a couple of different instances. We did one company wide, and we did a couple just to the executive team, so people who have greater than normal privileges to internal systems. And I'm really ashamed to say that at times the failure rate was higher than 15 or 20%.
Oh.
So.
How do you get to design
including repeat offenders?
do you get to design your own email and the message of what it says?
Actually.
Oh.
Yep.
Yes.
And we made this blatantly obvious. It was
Nigerian Prince invoice.
It was the name of the CEO from definitely not the CEO at notyourdomain.net or some crap like that.
Oh my gosh.
Like you if you click on details, it is blatantly obvious. We were like red flags, arrows, neon signs, everything that can point to don't click on this.
It literally said, "Do not open this attachment," and that was the name of the attachment.
Right. Hey, so we delivered this invoice, blah 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 blah, and I got one email asking me for the information that the email asked to deliver. That was one of them. I got a couple of reports right away from people, asking, "Hey, is this real? Hey, or hey, this just landed in my box. You guys need to know about this." And they got gold stars.
I was like, that's perfect.
Right, because that's the remediation steps we need to be taking. But then we also had the failures, straight up failures.
I mean, I don't. I would even call marking that as spam and not even calling me. Yeah. Okay, I'll. That's a passing grade too.
Yep.
I don't need to go
we've sent out the please confirm your email address from admin@yourmail.net and crap like that. And all of a sudden I have login credentials, which the executive then needs to change because they gave me their admin their login credentials. So fish your employees. You gain a lot of valuable information. And people are embarrassed when it happens. People don't like it when it happens. People think you're the bad guy. But hey, if I was the bad guy, your company would already be in trouble.
Yeah, they can think you're the bad guy, but your boss is going to think that you're a savior.
I'm the jerk for making them look like an idiot.
Yes.
But would you rather make you look like an idiot or the bad guy make you look like an idiot? Because one of those two things is going to happen. So, did we lose John? Oh, we lost John at the worst possible time.
Because you want to know why. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, your videos. Oh, your battery died?
No, it's too hot.
Oh, no. Do you have a webcam on your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh. That's how hot it is in my...
Yep.
Okay.
That's great.
Let's see. There we go.
There you go. Hey, we're back on. Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's not pretty.
Yeah, fix the white balance there, John.
Oof. Oh, you think I could do that on my little web camera?
No.
Hang on. I might be able to. Turn some light off. Gosh, it is so hot.
That's a little better.
It's a little better.
Yeah. We'll work with it. We'll roll with it.
Do I have...
You're in frame.
I'm in frame, but am I not back up on YouTube? Do I need to
No, you're good. No, you're back up. Yeah, I got you back up. Yeah. No, I full screened myself for a second, then saw you clicked right back on as soon as I did that. So, cool. Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right. Well, that was fun.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I told you it's hot in here.
Yep. All right. Some CES talk.
I get to go this year.
John gets to go this year. John will be part of the coverage, everyone. It was John's year to go anyway.
Yeah.
So, John, we get to do it from the comfort of your garage.
Hey, it'll be a January, so I'll be fine. I'll be in a sweater in Vegas.
Yeah. Crack a couple of these guys open.
There we go. Now we can really drink while we go through these booths.
Right. The B-roll is going to be subpar this year, just to let everyone know. I have a hard time just doing talking head videos. And I don't mean like the live show. I mean me just sitting in front of a camera and talking for 10 minutes. I don't feel it's my style. I don't feel me telling you about a current event is really like... I can't get jazzed about it. I have a hard time making that video. I've never done just like I'm just going to tell you information for 10 minutes video. I'm going to teach you how to do something in 10 minutes video. I've done quite a few of those. But I've never done hey, here's everything you need to know about the, RDNA 3 graphics cards.
Yeah.
Because I feel those are so overdone and everyone does them. What am I going to add to the conversation other than reading the bullet points that whatever company gave me? That's all I'm going to do, and maybe give like, I think this is a good product, or boy, this is going to struggle, or boy, that's priced too high, or hey, this is a really great deal.
Yeah,
I tell you wait for benchmarks, and it's really hard for me to give an opinion without seeing benchmarks and telling you how it stacks up.
I know. Well, my thought was, what about like interviews with reps and everything? How is that going to stack up? Because is it going to be scheduled again? Can it be spontaneous? You can't go to a booth now and do, hey, can I grab 5 minutes from you? Just really quick. You can't do that anymore.
Right. So yeah, it's going to be weird. I don't know what coverage I'll do of CES this year, if I'll do anything, because I don't really... I did some news videos last year. I did, I think, 5 videos from CES, and I tried to do them a little bit more experiential. I tried to do them a little bit more of going through the day of CES. And I like that style because at least it tells a story. Yeah. At least there's something in my video that you won't see from other people's videos. And I like that type of video.
And you're showing off your experience and the experience of a YouTuber too, kind of a thing. Like you said, it's a story.
Right.
ask at the journey. It's like, hey, and I'm going here with, the co-host, the buddy, and it kind of, it's not just, hey, we're at this booth. See you guys next one.
Right. Hey, we're at this booth. We're going to read the exact same bullet points that every other YouTuber has read you today.
Yeah.
Because we were all here at the same time, or the news broke at the same time, and and I like walking the show floor. I'm people say they hate the show floor. I love walking the show floor because I always find something weird or unique or different or abstract or whatever else. So I've done it for the last 3 years, and I really enjoy the booth visits, but I enjoy that on like a personal level. It doesn't make for terrific content unless I can find something that not everyone else is covering. In that case, it's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll be happy to do it because I can give you something that not everyone else is doing. If AMD releases a new CPU, every single YouTube channel is going to have the same details on the same CPU.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, how
I want to join that chorus?
How fast are those videos going to be released all at the same time? And then my other thought too was, like you're saying, there's those little booths that you might find something interesting. Now, are all of these small booths going to be streaming something, or are there going to be a less booth and just be big announcement stuff?
Right.
What's the quality? And then a lot of times too, these smaller booths, which is funny because of the whole thing, there's like live TV shopping networks and everything like that. And their hosts are live streaming from their house. Now, these are people that have contracts with large, production companies, and their camera quality stinks. We were even talking about late night hosts. They're filming from like their cell phone for the first couple of episodes.
It was hilarious that for literally 2 months solid, I had better broadcast quality than any primetime television show.
Yeah.
News broadcast, late night show, whatever.
And if you're not used to it, I understand all of those guys are going to be, they have a toe in the tech industry, so they should have at least someone that can help them out. But you never know if it's going to be a good stream quality. You never know if it can handle the amount of traffic that they might be getting.
Right.
So, this will be a very interesting thing. I don't know. I don't know how well this will be will be perceived.
Right. But it was, speaking of the late night hosts, probably the one that made me laugh the most was Seth Meyers. Pretty sure it was Seth Meyers. He was doing a late night thing, and he was literally doing it from like his kitchen with an iPhone, and he didn't know how to hold the dang thing. and so for like 3 straight weeks, he was just holding the iPhone and reading the news and doing his bits. And but the camera was like this kind of crap. Like it's just up his nose. And it was hilarious because I'm looking at it going, I'm not big budget. I'm not a multi-million-dollar show. Like I'm literally one guy in my basement. That's literally who I am. And they couldn't get him a camera. They couldn't get him an A5100. I mean, that's what this is being shot on, is an A5100. Sony. Cost me $350.
I know. This multi.
Couldn't get him a Rode shotgun mic and an A5100 and a tripod.
I know.
Show done. One tripod light.
Yeah, I know. Really, it's so ridiculous because like how much is the budget per episode on those companies? Mm-hmm. And literally, it's like, okay, for one day, let's just turn the power off. Whatever that amount we save, buy him a camera.
Right.
That's it. Here you go. Here. Right. And at the same time, you don't think he couldn't afford a camera?
Right.
Then after the first day or second day, being like, hey guys, did you see that video? It was horrible quality. How do I get better? It's almost, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was the audio too. Audio was horrible.
Oh, audio was horrible. Everyone sounded like they were inside a can.
Yeah.
But anyway, CES this year, it's going to be different. That week, I guarantee I will still be meeting with reps. I will still probably be doing what I'm doing with John right now and zooming in with them because this is all we're going to have. Or they'll just hold press conferences where they'll show videos and then have a Q&A over a Zoom chat or something like that, which that'd be preferable to me because then the rep doesn't have to sit through 90 of these meetings in 5 days. Yeah. I don't have to schedule a 15-minute block, and if I go late with someone, I'm going to be late to theirs. I would rather just Corsair handle a briefing, and we learn all the Corsair news. Everyone asks their questions all at the same time. If someone else asks your question, hey, that's one less time you have to say it.
Yep.
So, and then if you have follow-up questions, you can meet with your rep later. If you really need to. But that's how I'd prefer things to be ran, like from our industry. But I'm not in charge, so we'll see. But yeah, CES, no in person this year.
Maybe we can do it like if everything calms down where we're at, we can do it together in one room.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just come over there.
Absolutely.
And like I was saying, it would be nice if they did it like a VR experience, and we can just stream us walking virtual tour and be like, oh, look, it's just like it, but it's all digital. And we can make our own avatars.
Yeah, but I've already been in VR twice there. Because I'm pretty sure Pimax showed me on their big screen 2 years in a row.
Yeah, well, no, it's like, we'll have a VR. Too bad they didn't have like a digital VR floor you could just like explore and go to their booth and like,
that's what we need is the telepresence robots.
Yeah.
So they'll literally set up the booths at CES and everyone's just like those around. Those Cisco telepresence bots. That's what we need.
Like bump into some. I'm on the floor.
Yeah. ID Prom says, you got to remember that traditionally actors don't spend a huge amount of time learning how to do the photography part of their trade. And that's totally true. But at the same time, a TV host or a, news broadcaster, late night host, that kind of thing, I don't say you need to know angles and rule of thirds and lighting techniques and everything like that. It doesn't take much to not shoot on an iPhone, though. Now my camera, I have a manual focus lens on it. It's an f2.8, with a speed booster, and I've gone through all the steps to get like the best quality possible out of this. But a Sony a5100 and a 16-50 lens is a phenomenal bang for the buck at $350 with HDMI out and a capture card, or just record to the SD card and external audio, and then you can have someone else sync it together in post. But what I'm saying is shoot on something better than your iPhone.
Well, yeah,
and even like the single incandescent bulb you have hanging above your head.
Well, even if the host, it's not up to the host, but every one of those shows has a production manager. There's, some guy who's in charge of camera and the lighting. And if they didn't see the first 2 episodes and still did nothing about it, that's really what's coming down to. It's like, oh, we need to get them X equipment. Here's the simplest stuff that it's click and point, and it's going to be way better than what they need. It's a $500 budget, and he can just hold it. And let's send someone over there, set it up on his house, and he just hits power or record. That's it. They could have done that after day 2 or 3, and they chose not to.
Right.
Well, I don't know if they chose not to. It made for some entertaining TV, but it was like, wow, how dumb are these companies?
Right. Hey, so we need you to record an hour-long comedy special. Just send us the raw footage. And then it was Seth Meyers, like, with the camera sticking up his nose from his iPhone front camera.
Yeah.
Okay, we needed something better than VGA. Like, can you get us at least 720p?
I know, it was almost, yeah.
Can you turn on the light in your 1-bedroom apartment? That's all we want.
It was shot off of an iPad 1.
Sorry, people are chatting at me.
Okay.
And speaking of things being canceled, if you work for Google, you got notification yesterday that you're not going to work, and you're not going to work until at least June 2021.
Wow, you're going to work, you're just not going to the office.
Right. So this is for all, or the vast majority of Google and Alphabet Inc.'s 200,000 plus worldwide employees.
Good time
and
to be
for
a Google
company
employee.
that pretty much has all the data, that makes me kind of worried. That they've already decided that, we're going to be like this for another 12 months.
Well, at the same time, too, if one thing happened, one thing, that's all it took within that 200,000 employees, they would get horrible press.
Oh, totally.
And for them, so that is more of just, you know what, we can easily afford this, and yeah, go ahead, and we're going to look like the good guys. So for them, I think it's still a win-win no matter what, because then it encourages other large companies to do stuff like this as well. Although my only thought is that does stuff like this in the grand scheme of things, are companies going to start realizing that half of their, building is no longer needed, and they can actually scale down and just have all their employees remote from home now? How much can they save? And just, rental costs, plumbing, electrical, everything it takes to maintain such a large, vast, as for Google, a campus, literally a campus. They don't need that anymore for a whole year and a half. And now they're paying to maintain that. But no one's going to be there. So will they downscale eventually?
Right. Yeah. I don't see, I was going to say I don't see downscale, but at the same time, if you don't have facilities to maintain, that's a downscale.
Yeah.
There goes your maintenance crews, there goes custodial, there goes...
yeah, but I'm just downscaling in your building square footage, not employees, because it's obviously if productivity can maintain itself and your employees are at home, you're not having to pay for that extra water bill that extra building is having to use, or the electrical, or anything like that. That's money being saved. You could sublease that building now.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say I don't think it means downscale, but as soon as you said it, my brain went, wait, yeah, downscale, because that's exactly what this would lead to.
Yeah.
We find all the time, I'm sure in your career, somewhere along the way, John, you automated someone out of a career.
I've already done that.
I have.
Yeah.
I felt bad about it too, after the fact.
Yeah.
But it's, you hear these stories all the time about literally one person's job was to take 4 Excel spreadsheets and turn them into one and analyze the data and whatnot and spit you out this one number.
They had to manually do the calculation.
And it took them 40 hours a week to do it, and they were happy to do it, and they were good at it. And then a programmer spent 10 hours going, oh, here's a application that literally takes those 4 databases, combines them into one, spits out that one number.
Yep, and here's a button. It does it in
and here's a button. Here's a button. You're done 4 seconds later.
Yep.
And that person is out the door. I've done that in my career. I think everyone in IT has had that experience at least once.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It's not a feeling I enjoy.
No.
That's the one thing I don't get a sense of accomplishment for. On one point, it is my job to make my employer more efficient. On another hand, I just cost someone their job because I made my employer more efficient. So that's a hard one. Yeah.
So yeah, but again, I think if they're going to maintain, I guess for this though, then it would be that possibly the downscaling, if it is, that would be more of the maintenance crews on this. I could see though, like I said, I think eventually companies like this could come back together. I don't know if Google did something like that though, they could be getting also bad press for that. I don't know. I was just speaking that hypothetically, this could happen because of this.
Right. Yeah, what happens if we never go back?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk right now that the longer companies go, not having to be on site, the more realistic it is that on site will never happen again.
Yeah, that was kind of my idea behind that.
Right. There's been that talk in a number of different industries, and I don't think anyone is unique in that outside of the service industry, outside of food service and things like that. Restaurants, bars, etc. There are so many services that you can either automate or work remotely now because of the technology we have. it's a whole new dichotomy. It's a whole new way of doing things, and it's a whole new way of thinking about things that honestly is probably about 20 years behind where we should be.
Yeah.
But we knew these were extenuating and unprecedented circumstances. But there is a real piece of this that things will never go back to the way they used to be. And working remotely might all of a sudden be the norm for almost every single office worker ever.
Yeah, and you know what? If that does happen, I honestly think that actually, for a lot of, for this one aspect, the family aspect, I think that actually could be a lot better, because then you have possibly the parents, someone's always at home with your kids, so there's always that development, I think. I think that's a good possibility. Also, it provides people a way of finding jobs that are further out there, that they don't have to move for their job, or they can go.
If only we had reliable rural broadband.
Come on, Elon Musk.
I know you're crossing all your fingers for that one.
You know what I'm working with.
I know where you live.
God, it's horrible out there. I try to post a pic on Discord, and it's like I'm sitting there waiting. Come on.
You got it framed right, just barely off kilter.
Yeah.
You got
I got
you got the fire
skills
just right.
I got all. You've seen them. This is only 2 megabytes. Why is it taking so long? You're already done with your beer, and I've been done with mine for like 10 minutes.
I'm still there.
I know. I'm done. I was done 10 minutes ago.
You can open another one.
Well, my camera crashed and everything, so.
Do you want to open another one? I'll pause the show so you can open another beer, John.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to go get another cold, refreshing beer.
All right, I'll go and intro the next story while you're gone.
All right, you do that.
All right. So L is real 2401. This has been the big gaming headline, Nintendo headline, that has dominated the last weekend and into early of this week. And this comes courtesy of some leaked source code that was, we'll just outright say it, that was stolen from Nintendo. Likely this is all a leak or all from a single attack that happened, I believe, as early as 2017. And that one person is sitting on this trove of data and they're slowly, feeding bits of it out. But early on there was some Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow Edition as well, I believe was in there. There was some source code leaked for that. Over the weekend, we landed on some SNES leaks. We got full source code to a lot of first-party SNES games. We got full source code to Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. We got full source code to Star Fox, the until very recently unreleased Star Fox 2. We got it for Super Mario World. We got, Yoshi's Island. We got a couple unreleased first-party games. One of them was like this Donkey Kid or something like that looked like a Yoshi Island-esque style art game. And I was like, yeah, that's really cool. It's cool to see some of these beta elements or elements that didn't make the final game. But the big news came when the N64 sources started dropping on Sunday. Now, again, these were illegally obtained. I cannot stress that enough. But there's both a confirmation and an outright busting of a very long, pervasive rumor within N64, and that is that Yoshi is in. Or Yoshi. We know Yoshi's in the game. Luigi is in the game. L is real 2401 as it's written on the stone outside in the back courtyard of Peach's castle. John, what are you drinking there?
I decided to get, since you were going with a big beer, I thought I'd man up a bit.
Is that an Anchorage?
It is a Great Notion.
Oh, Great Notion? Ooh.
Great Notion Juice Squared.
Juice Squared.
It is their 10% triple version of their juice IPA, their juicy IPA.
Nice.
So very orange juice-esque.
Yes.
Smells fantastic.
Looks really good. Anyway.
Oh, it's nice and cold too.
Give it 2 minutes.
Oh, I know. I opened the garage door if you didn't hear.
Yeah. So anyway, L is real, inscribed on the stone tablet in the center of the courtyard in Castle Peach. L is real 2401. We always felt it was like an homage to Luigi, and it was later confirmed that that is the text that is on that stone tablet. However, Luigi was never found in the game. That is until this leak. So the reason I say it's both a confirmation and a busting of this very, very long pervasive myth of you can play as Luigi inside the game, or you can unlock Luigi in the game, or Luigi was originally meant to be a part of the game. Which we do know to be true because Nintendo has confirmed that Luigi was in some of the early development for the Nintendo 64. They were planning on making this a multiplayer game. At one point, it was kind of like a side-scrolling with 3D elements a la the new Super Mario Bros. Wii. It was styled kind of like that, and then later they made it into a full 3D roaming, semi-open world that we know it as today. And they were trying to make that two-player, but they couldn't figure out the multiplayer camera system, a way to make that functional within the game.
Yeah.
And so that was scrapped. But what we found out this week is that in the beta files for Super Mario 64, there is a Luigi model and uncompressed audio for Luigi in-game. So he had full recorded audio. He had a very unique and distinct model, different from the Mario model. In games past, sometimes they've taken the Mario model and literally just changed the color palette on it to put green on it. And hey, now you're playing as Luigi. No, I'm not. Ooh, nice. Sorry, my wife's doing some tie-dye projects and just showed me the results of it.
Tie-dye craft computing?
Not tie-dye craft computing. Yeah, wrong color. That's purple and pink and whatnot. It's for my daughters. Which, by the way, the background is kind of a pink color today because both my daughters got their hair dyed pink today. You can say in here. That's fine. Rambo has joined the chat. Anyway, yeah, they've just changed the palette and made Luigi, or made Mario green. And so it's been green Mario, not actually Luigi. This was a 100% from the ground up built model of Luigi. Now, it wasn't complete. They had to take the texture files and mix them with the render files and whatnot, but eventually they got a Luigi model. However, the reason I say this is a busting of the myth that Luigi existed within Super Mario 64 is while the source was there, while some of the early animation coding was there, while the model was there, while the uncompressed audio was there, none of that was present in the make file.
Yeah. And
so none of those source files were ever used in the compilation of Mario 64. And so the fact remains that Luigi does not exist within the game Mario 64. And so I've seen a lot of contradicting things to this going, L is real, Luigi's in the game. Luigi existed in beta files, but never in the make. So I've seen some PC ports already that have injected the Luigi model into the game, and they've started messing with the sound clips and trying to get the sound clips into the game as well, which is cool. I like things like that. But Luigi does not exist in the retail Mario 64 cartridge.
Yeah, there's no unlockable, go to this corner, jump through this, because there's a crack in the frame rate, and it's going to unlock Luigi.
Right. And for all the exploits that we know about inside Mario 64, you'd think someone would have found it by now.
Yeah, no.
But no, we have it confirmed because Mario 64 is also the only thing out of the N64 leak that we have the full source for, that we have a compilable source code. The rest of the files, there's the source code or part of the source code for Star Fox 64, for Ocarina of Time, for Majora's Mask, for the list goes on and on. Let's...
Yeah, there was a couple.
This is the early list. So this is the SNES list that's right here. And then if I go to this next page, here's some of the beta elements from some SNES games. So we have an old Yoshi. That was kind of one of my favorite ones. That and some of the early renders of Yoshi in Super Mario World are frightening.
Well, yeah,
like they would have terrified kids. You might as well have just drawn blood on the fangs coming out of that thing.
There was one of like actually Luigi for Super Mario World. Like it kind of looked like he was flipping you off.
Right.
There was a weird frame rate of old Yoshi where he looked weird, and then they had
I've got that one up on screen right now where he's breathing fire.
Yeah, but then you see like Mario literally smack him in the face.
Well, like that's how he opens his mouth in SNES. Is Mario punches him in the back of the head, and Yoshi's head goes forward and his tongue shoots out. That's how that animation works.
Well, this one looked a little bit like a bit more violent.
No, go back and play the original game and hit Y. Whack! He hits him in the back of the head, man.
Well, this one shows like pressure, like has those white lines around it, so it looks like he hits a little harder.
Yeah,
the animation.
Well, Yoshi stands a little taller in this one too, so
basically it looks like Mario just like beats this dinosaur.
Right. Well, that's pretty much what he's doing the whole time. I'm really surprised PETA, and in fact, probably somewhere along the way, PETA has gotten involved with SNES, Super Mario World, and said it's animal abuse because he's hitting him in the back of the head. But also, you can jump off him and drop Yoshi off a cliff so you can save yourself. Yeah. Crap like that.
Yeah, there's a possible July 94 first rendition of a 3D Link. It is just this green triangular character with a blue shield and what appears to be a sword.
The color was applied afterwards.
Oh, was it?
So this was applied by the person who found it. And in fact, there's a higher res one as well with some more details. But this is a 3D effects render of Link. So they were considering at one point playing around with a 3D environment that you could run around with on the SNES using the 3DFX chip in a Zelda game.
Gee.
I can see why it didn't go very far.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it didn't go very far because it probably would have killed the series. As much as, Zelda 2 tried to do that.
Speaking of Zelda 2, they even had like a Zelda 2 with, I think they said blood in it.
Zelda 2 port to the SNES, which was part of the original 1989 presentation of the SNES. This was a demo of a 16-bit Zelda 2 game, and so it's side-scrolling, so they upped all the animations and redid everything pretty much inside of Zelda 2, the Adventure of Link. And there's some animations and palettes in here that show...
There's blood or rust on swords.
Yeah. If you can see down here, down on the bottom of the screen right here, there's like blood or rust on the sword.
Yeah.
There's some Hylian shields that we haven't seen before. There's a whole bunch of different palettes of Link running, including one with like a sword behind his back, which I will say later came back, I want to say in some of the Game Boy games. That style of running. But the leaks are far and they're extensive. But again, the N64 links or sources in particular are kind of blown out of proportion because they're not full source links. They're not full source dumps. You can't recompile these. Dr. Mario 64 was another one. I'm trying to think of some of the rest. But basically a lot of the first party Nintendo 64 games, but they all had one thing in common, and that's that they were all released on the IQ system that was only released in China. Because at the time, China had a ban on home consoles. And to skirt that ban, Nintendo partnered with a company called IQ and their parent company called Broadon, which was a chip manufacturer. And Broadon also went on to make chips for some of the GameCube and N64, I believe they had a hand in, and some other components within some of those consoles. They helped Nintendo with some of the silicon there. But the IQ, to skirt the console limit in China, was a game controller you plug directly into your TV. And so it had games that you could put in on a cartridge, and you could store like 10 games on a memory cartridge. And so it was kind of a cool system, 25 years ago. But all of this source code came from that company, came from a leak from Broadon, not from a leak from Nintendo. So that's the source code there. So it's interesting to see some of the beta files. It's interesting to see some of the really high resolution renders, the Mario 64 box art and manual art.
Yeah.
The full uncompressed renders of the items inside Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Those
look still nice.
looking.
Yeah.
Right. And looking at them in the manual when they're this big really doesn't do them justice to the amount of artistry that went into creating those items. So it is cool. It is a cool part of history. However, they were still obtained illegally. And so it's this morbid fascination with, I have to look at them, but I still feel a little bit dirty because I feel like I'm encouraging this kind of behavior. And I'm not.
Yet there's a link for it in the description of the video.
Right. There's a link to other news article or other news publications who have published information on this, and I read along with everyone else.
This is not the source. This is just other people reporting on that news.
I did not go download the source, although I really thought about it.
Yeah.
Because morbid curiosity. I kind of wanted to see it, but at the same time,
we talked plenty about leaks of Nintendo. Someone just lit off a firework again.
I heard it.
What?
It's July. It's almost August. Someone lit one off, I think, yesterday or the day before, and my dog is terrified of fireworks. To the point where she will not go outside if a firework has gone off anytime during the day.
Yeah. No.
And right, so
But no, I was saying that we've talked about N64 leaks and source code leaks. I think on this show a while ago too, that a lot of them got leaked. So this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Mm-hmm. This was just an interesting thing because it had a bunch of extra stuff, like you said, of more of the leakage of the. Oh, there goes another one. The Luigi things. I don't mind July 5th, and I don't mind July 3rd.
Right.
Anything past that.
That's me.
Pisses me off.
Couple of days before you're lighting off fountains and whatnot, letting the kids do the fun pops and you're doing snakes and spinners. Cool. If you're lighting off mortars 4 weeks later.
Yeah, that's what's going on, and it's like, come on, man. Right. And you were here around here the day of. It was a war zone.
Good Lord. I was in Johnstown that night. And in fact, I was on literally the same street. Yep.
That was 3.
Yep. I was on the same street that Steve lives on at some family's house. And apparently there was also some guns going off.
Yeah, a bullet hit my sister's car.
Right. Had a bullet hole right in the hood of like a brand new Civic. It's like,
it was a brand new a Subaru.
A Subaru,
and, yeah, and then a bullet hole. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yep. And I had my family, my daughters, like literally 4 houses away.
Yeah, I know. No.
There we go. Yep.
Someone needs to call someone.
Good times.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of good times and good announcements, some AMD news.
Yes.
As bad news for Intel just came about, and they're going to be so far behind AMD. AMD just announced that, you know what? We're going to make it just that much more difficult for you by confirming 5 nanometer Zen 4.
So AMD said / didn't say / pretty much confirmed that that Zen 4 will be on 5 nanometer, and it will also include the launch of RDNA 3.0 by the end of 2021. So that is within 15 calendar months.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I would expect
by Q4, we will have a release of Zen 4 and RDNA 3, both of which will be on 5 nanometer. So here we are, Intel finally admitting defeat on their architecture and on their internal fabs, which, again, I cannot overstate the newsworthiness and shockingness of that. number one, they finally realized it, and number two, they publicly announced it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's shocking, and I guess it shows a good direction for the company because they realize that they're not going to achieve this internally, and they're saying, we need help. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah.
I fully support that. But at the same time, it's still amazing for a company to go out and do that. But here we are in AMD's camp going, our fabs have been so good, we're literally selling every part we have at the same clock speed, and we're having to sell 8-core parts as 6-core parts to meet demand for the 6-core parts because we have too many 8-core parts.
Yeah.
Like that's a real problem with AMD right now, is their profit margins are too good. Their yields are too good. And we heard that very early on about 7 nanometer, and it's only gotten better.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, yeah. I've been watching even, I shoot myself every day when we started talking about AMD in early talking heads. I was like, I should probably go buy some stock. And I went and looked at AMD stock at
$4.
$5. Yeah. It's at like $52 or $60 now.
I think it broke 50 a little while ago.
Yeah. And
I felt the same way, but I also felt that at the time, because I was wanting to get into this industry, it is conflict of interest to own stock in an industry you may one day hold stake over.
Well, that's why you do it. Give it to me. Right, John, go do it.
But I seriously thought when we talked about AMD stock hitting an all-time low at like $4.18 or something absurd like that, I wanted to go spend $1,000 on it.
Oh I was like,
just go drop $1,000 and see what happens.
It was like $2,000, and I should have. And then I think they spiked like a week ago. I think they came back down, but I was like, wow, they spiked. Like I said, I think it was like 50 or $60.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, and Intel is going down. It was the other day they spiked 16%.
7609.
Oh my god.
I just looked it up today.
What's Intel that?
They're up $8 today.
Whatever.
They're up $8 and they're up 12.4% today.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm still thinking about buying AMD stock, especially when I saw this article. I was like, oh, I should buy it now.
Right.
I'll still make money.
Yep.
So I really, this is kind of off topic, but I've always wanted to get into some stocks that I just never have.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way. Where, in fact, I will be getting into investing of some kind very, very soon. As now I'm self-employed. So.
Yeah. Well, you kind of, you just want that money to work for you.
Right, exactly. And I've got a decent amount of money, and I want it to start working for me. That was one of the leading factors, as well as of me leaving my job, is I want to go full time in this, but this can't be my only egg. This can't be the only basket that's holding all my eggs.
Yeah.
And so I will be doing other things with my money, and I do other things with my money, but right now this is probably 80% of my eggs, and I still don't like that.
Yeah. No, but so but with this announcement though, with 5 nanometer coming out end of next year, to me that means that I am, as awesome as their processors are now and at a really great price, I kind of don't want to buy one now. I want to wait till next year, because then
there's always going to be something better.
There is, but now
unless you're Intel. Should I buy the 6700K now, or should I wait until the 7700K now, or it comes out? No, I'd wait till the 7700K because I hear they're going to do something like extraordinary with it. 7% later.
Yeah.
7% and a price hike later.
But I'm just curious. So if I waited 3 months after this, so if I waited till say March of 2021, would the 7 nanometer be a lot cheaper? Would it be worth that price drop that it might be going? It probably is only going to be about a 30 to 20% price drop, though.
Honestly, because again, yields are so good for AMD, and we've seen the used prices and even brand new prices for brand new parts plummet. And we've also seen the release of first generation parts with second generation architecture selling for rock bottom prices.
Yeah.
I for one was shocked when the 3600 came out at $199, as good as it is, because at $199 it beats an 8700K overclocked, and that processor was $379 a year and a half earlier.
Yeah.
What shocked me even more is at the bottom of the barrel, you could get a Ryzen 5 3600 for about $160 if you bought it on a good deal. Now it's leveled off about 180, but it's still a really good price for that processor.
Like 199, 180 is a great price.
Now let's carry that one level further. Okay, so the Ryzen 5 2600, which is the previous generation, Zen Plus architecture, 6-core, 12 threads, so same basic thread layout.
Yeah.
Is $130. Let's carry that one further, shall we? AMD released the 1600 AF, Ryzen 5 1600 AF, which is also 6-core, 12 thread, based on the same architecture that the Ryzen 5 2600 is based on, which is the 12 nanometer Zen Plus architecture. $85. $85, you can buy a brand new 6-core processor, 12 threads. Throw that thing on the cheapest AM4 motherboard you can, and that is one hell of a system.
Yeah.
Imagine when Zen 2 hits that price point.
Yeah. Now, that's going to be Jeff's new budget build video.
Right. The fact that a Ryzen 3 3200G can compete with a 7700K overclocked at $100 should blow your mind.
Oh yeah, it's insane. That's why I'm like, why didn't I buy AMD stock? Because people, after Zen 2 came out, people realized this isn't a fluke. It really was Zen 2. Yeah, we saw the first generation, and it increased. It did increase because like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But it's stable. Then Zen 2 came out, and we're better performance and still cheaper, and people bought it, and then it was just this. Everything was just like that. We're talking stock and performance, and so. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking with this. Do I wait that long of time and get a Zen 2 do I wait till next year to upgrade my computer?
And get a 2600 AF that's built on 7 nanometer, but they couldn't quite call it a 3600 for like $99.
Exactly.
That's a genuine possibility.
Yeah.
And that is so exciting from the budget standpoint to get a chip that on 7 nanometer goes 4.2 gigahertz over, under boost clocks.
Yeah. Well, then that means also too that means gaming PCs coming out
home
next year.
Server PCs
are going to be so cheap. I mean, consoles are going to look like I'm buying a Ferrari or not even a Ferrari, but like I can't even. What good Italian sports car sucks? A Maserati.
Well, that's yeah.
But basically, I'm overpaying for underperformance. And that's what consoles are going to look like at that time. Come 2021, the new Xbox and the new PlayStation, I'm going to be paying $599 for when I can pay $399 for a PC that way outperforms it. I get way better graphics, and it's going to last me a lot longer than that console will.
Right. Yeah, Moore's Law is broken. No, Moore's Law is broken for Intel. So, Moore's laws would still be working if Intel had good fabs.
Yeah, no. So this is very exciting.
Moore's laws didn't break for nVidia, did they? Didn't break for AMD, did it? Interesting.
So yeah, Skull says I'm buying a BMW.
So a BMW? Yeah.
That's why I own Volvos. All right, I'm just curious.
That's why all my cars are Japanese. I'm still enjoying this beer. Hey, you're back. Yay!
I opened the garage door. I was like, it's getting pretty cool in here. I'm gonna test my camera.
There you go.
people were saying I was crunchy on the Discord, and we're all, what is crunchy? Is it edible? Is it yummy? What is crunchy? And so, but because you probably didn't read that you're not part of Jeff's Discord. And you should probably be part of Jeff's Discord, because it's actually a freaking awesome Discord. It's got so many chat rooms, and I'm not kidding you. And every single one of them is extremely active. It's probably the most active. And I sound like a used car salesman right now, because if you don't join Jeff's Discord, I'm going to club this baby seal. So you better join Jeff's Discord. And
I've seen him do it.
I'll do it. I'm going to club this baby seal. But no, in all honesty, actually, it is a really cool Discord. There's literally everything from food, beer. There is a meme war. There is music. There is sports. There is gaming. There is movies. General chat. There's a special chat room just for talking heads. There is hardware. There is car-related stuff, and every single one
networking
of those,
and build help. Show off your build.
Oh, we even started what we're calling it an academy. It's where we're teaching stuff, where we have other people teaching skills. And
we have a soldering workshop held by one of my guys who just started it. It's cool, go.
Hey, cool. So you can get access to all of this, and every one of these channels are extremely active. I know you've probably been to those certain Discord channels where they're free and no one talks to them, or you go into those other big YouTube tech channels that like Bud Light Orange, and there's maybe 2 people active, and they're always the same 2 people. They're always talking about spoons and Jack Daniels and whatnot. But whatever. And it's not fun. It's not fun. So you know what they do? They jump over on Craft Computing channel because it's fun. It's interactive. We talk to people. And if you tag any one of the Talking Heads hosts or Craft Computing himself, we do respond almost instantaneously or as fast as we can.
As long as I'm awake.
Yeah. But for the low price of $1 or more, you are more than welcome to do a bit more. It does help Jeff continue to put out the content that he does put out. So yeah, that is my spiel.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But no, if you're looking for an active Discord, if you're looking for people to actually chat with, there's chat 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
It takes me legit a full 45 minutes to get caught up just reading comments when I wake up in the morning, and I only sleep 6 hours a night. So
yeah. No, we have people from East Coast, West Coast, Norway, everywhere, talking under this.
Jack Daniels in the chat says, "Oi!" You didn't have to add him like that, man.
I wanted to see if he was paying attention.
Yep. So. Hey, actually, your spiel got one. Literally, 927.
Bam. By the way, if you do, you have to sub to Hops and Brews channel.
That is a requirement. Actually, I really want to see my Discord numbers surpass Hops and Brews subscriber count. That's what I want to see. Can you guys help me do that?
I'm going to make you do that.
From me to you, can you help me do that?
Yeah.
Not you.
By the way, Jeff's channel sucks. I mean, honestly, everything he does is a lie. It's all he rips off other YouTubers. I mean, he's sitting there trying to build a media server, and he just ripped off Jason from Bite My Bits, and it wasn't even as good a quality. Jason has a 300 terabyte. Jeff's sitting there, I got 88 terabytes. But whatever.
What I'll say,
see a good server build, go to Bite My Bits.
What I'll say is my media server turns on right now.
That's true.
It's very true. Anyway, speaking of nVidia,
there's a segue.
About to smooth the line as segues. Speaking of nVidia, so there's some talk that the nVidia GA100 chip could be as much as 43% faster than Turing, not counting the RTX cores. So we're talking just straight rasterization. And that's a claim that a lot of people don't really ever throw out generation to generation. Remember when Lisa Su stood on stage for AMD for Zen 2 and said we achieved a 15% IPC improvement year over year, or generation over generation from Zen Plus to Zen 2? That was a remarkable number because 15% doesn't happen. 43?
43?
Yeah. It's a big number. Now, I will say, every single year, during Apple's press conference for whatever they're releasing, it's 50% faster than the previous generation at X task. And X task is one we specifically built instructions in this chipset to run 50% faster. It's something that Intel couldn't even lie about anymore, starting with like 9th gen. It's like we couldn't say we're 17% faster at not even our media encoding got faster. Crap. But you'll see Apple trot this out all the time. 50% faster in photo processing for advanced background removal. Well, your previous chip didn't do advanced background removal, and you literally built an instruction set in this chipset to do advanced background removal for portrait mode. So I would hope it's 50% faster. And remember when nVidia trotted out and said, we are 70% faster at ray tracing than the previous generation chips that didn't have ray tracing chips in them.
Yeah.
So take these numbers with all the salt. But nVidia is claiming in some inner circles that Ampere will be up to 43% faster at rasterization than Turing. That's a big number.
Yeah. Oh, well,
it's a number I think they could hit.
Really? Because when I was reading this, I was like, there's no way. There's a gimmick. They're doing something. It's for one thing.
Here's why. Here's why I even put this in. Because this reads like a CES bullet point, like an Apple News demo.
Yeah.
It really does. Here's why I think it's possible.
Okay.
Take my grains of salt too. Okay, but here's why I think it's possible. Is because if you remember back a couple weeks ago when we had the RTX 3080 leak, where it's supposedly going to separate the RTX cores from the CUDA cores and put it on different silicon.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. Right now, all of those chips and all of those cores are on the same die. And Turing is a pretty fat die already. Okay? You need to bin all of those cores. All of your Tensor cores, all of your RTX cores, all of your CUDA cores, all of your NVINC cores, all of your whatever cores, whatever processing units are within it. They need to perform to X standard or have X number of good components in them to meet 3080 Ti, and then 3080, and then 3070, and you cut your bins down from there. Okay? What happens if your RTX bins suck on a 2080? Then you get an RTX 2060 KO, which is built on the same GT104 die that the 2080 is, but you cut it down to the number of CUDA cores as a 2060, but it still comes with the same number of regular of RTX cores as a 2080 does. But you had to sell it as a lower part because you couldn't bin it as a 2080.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So this happens, and we've heard rumors that the bins have not been very good for NVIDIA with the RTX series of cards, with the 2000 series of cards. And we don't know if it's the RTX bins, we don't know if it's the CUDA bins, we don't know if it's both, but the bins have not been very good, which is why the prices went up, which is why their profit margin kind of had to go up with it, is they needed to sell these cards at a certain profit point, and that profit point happened to be the same price tier as the previous generation. So the 70 series performs the same as the 70 series before, or performs the same as the 80 series before. We're just going to call it by a different name and sell you it as something else and hope you like ray tracing.
Yeah.
And hope the market adopts ray tracing, which they really haven't.
Nope.
But what happens if all of a sudden you can bin your RTX cores on a much smaller die, and you can bin your Tensor cores on that same die, and you know you're good at producing Tensor because you've done it for CUDA or you've done it for your Quadro and your Tesla chips for a decade.
Yeah.
You know you're good at that. Okay? And then you have your CUDA cores, which you also know you're good at. What happens if they're on their own die? And now you can take the best CUDA die and the best RTX die and put them on the same board, but opposite one another. And now you have an RTX 3080 Ti or an RTX Titan, Titan Ampere or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're getting the best of the best, and you're having the amount of silicon you have to throw at it. Now imagine the die is bigger. Now imagine I can cram 5,000 CUDA cores a la, the Volta architecture. The Titan Volta, the V100s, Teslas. Imagine I can cram 5,000 CUDA cores into an Ampere core. Whereas before on Turing, the most I could fit was about 4,200 because I had to cut it down for RTX. Do you see a 40% improvement somewhere along the way?
I mean, but
do you see putting 40% more cores or 30% more cores with 10% better efficiency?
Possibly, but like you said, with the other graphics card
with RDNA,
with the RDNA.
Yeah.
Now they said that just came out, and so should be the next model after that.
Right.
So
Ampere is coming out this year. I had clocked late September or early September for an announcement, and October for a release, and I still stand by that.
I mean, possibly, like I would have expected 25% improvement. 43. Again, too, they were not very upfront of what the test was and what is 43% faster.
They never are. They never, like I said, so salt, lots of salt.
And lots of salt. So what you're stating, and if say 75% of what you're stating is true, and then they took X of, I'm going to take this particular style or whatever this image is and render it this particular way or however, then yes, okay, it could technically, and then they could claim it in
But what if it's only 25%? And I say only.
Hey, if
it's
a
big leap still.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If it was 25%, and if it's 25% globally, that's fantastic. Right. That's an amazing jump.
This report is saying up to 43% faster.
Yes.
What if it's only 25?
Well, yeah. If it's even 25 globally,
and what if it's cheaper?
1.
What if it's cheaper because you have better binning and better yields on all of your fabs because your dies are that much smaller now, and you don't have to bin your RTX cores with your CUDA cores with your Tensor cores? What if they're separate dies now?
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying this story has some validity.
Okay, yeah. So possibly, and I would rather be proven wrong, or my skepticism be proven wrong on this.
And I said, please take this with a very healthy dose of skepticism.
This is
John, your skepticism is more than welcome around this table.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I that huge amount of skepticism, but I would love it. I would love to see this because again,
could be accurate.
Could be, it could be accurate again. Cheaper.
And we can all hope that the GPU wars finally start to heat up and not heat up in the bad way.
Yeah. Well, someone was it Sony or Intel? Intel was going into the GPUs, right?
Yes.
So that.
In fact, in about 2 weeks, what is that? August.
20 days. What is 20 days from now?
August 13th.
13th. There you go.
2 weeks essentially from today because it was like Friday.
Yeah,
that this
13th.
Was posted.
There you go.
So August 13th, Intel will be spilling the beans on Intel Z. Z. I think they want us to call it XE. I'm going to call it Z.
Eggs?
And I'm going to make them call it Z.
Eggs. Z.
Right.
Z.
Yeah. XE, Z, whatever. I don't care.
Whatever.
Intel will be spilling the beans on their architecture, top to bottom, August 13th.
Yep.
Performance numbers, benchmarks, possible like early samples.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it could be early samples. Now, there was stating that this could just be more of a, here's a performance, but we're not really going to show you the actual hardware, but
right.
Here's what it can do, and here's the benchmarks for it. But we're not
Here's where we're at.
Here's where we're at, and that could be it. Or it could be the full product, because they did tweet it out. The Intel Graphics Twitter account tweeted out, but then they deleted it.
Yes.
Kind of making it seem like, hey, we jumped the gun. Maybe we need to rephrase this a bit. Or it could be pure PR.
Yes. Well, if we know anything about Intel, it's that no department talks to any other department.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Could have been their PR department leaked something early. It could have been they weren't supposed to say anything. It could have been they said something and screw you graphics department or what.
I mean the 20-day thing delivery, that's quick. I mean, that's soon. It's not like, that's within the realm of, hey, we need to send out the press briefings and the invitations for the live streams and everything like that. So that's all within the realm of, the scope of everything.
If Intel comes out and they say 2060 Super 5600 XT level performance, first generation, 250, I think people will buy.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
You don't have to be a world beater. You just have to be in the same game.
You have to be in the same stadium.
Yeah,
and stadium and price point is really where you need to be.
If everyone's playing basketball, you can't show up on ice skates. You have to be in the same stadium playing the same game.
Yeah, and
you might be the intramural game, but as long as you're in the same stadium.
Yeah, if you're coming into the NBA and you're
going to be relevant,
and if you're the Globetrotters, I'm still going to watch.
Right.
So, but yeah, if this is an announcement of, hey, here's what we got, here's what it looks like, here's the price point, blah, 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 almost an official announcement release type thing, people might jump on board, be excited for it, because there's always going to be those early adopters. This also might kind of save Intel in the sense of, if it is good, if it is maybe performs a little bit better, or the price point's different, whatever, it might save a little bit of thing of Intel. I don't know. But this will be interesting to see Intel's take on graphics. So, how well it performs versus long-standing other graphic companies. All the other GPUs that are out there. You drop something?
No. I was scratching my leg and reading a comment all at the same time.
Oh, okay.
No, I was working out in the yard the other day, and I've got this spot that I took a chunk out of my leg about this big and didn't realize it for like 20 minutes, and so it bled all over my sock and my shoe. And the scab peeled off today, so it's like itchy as hell.
Oh yeah.
So it's in that state.
I was starting a chainsaw this weekend, and I guess I had old gas because I just could not get that thing to start.
Yeah.
And I did the dumb thing of like not stepping on it, so holding it down, and so I was just like pulling it and just whacked myself right in the side of it. I was like, I am so glad that pull did not start that engine right there. But now I have a something about this big, black and blue on the side of my leg.
Yeah. My dad was out working. My dad had a cabin in Eastern Oregon, and he was working on Thanksgiving Day quite a few years ago, cutting trees down on the property, and had the chainsaw going and dropped it down and was left the trigger press just a little bit too long on that thing. Came into his leg and took a gouge out of his leg. By the way, like at least 90 minutes from the closest hospital.
Oh gosh. We got a super chat, but I don't believe we can read it.
I'm not going to read that one. In fact, I already responded to that one. That's kind of what I was doing when you said, "What are you doing down here?"
Because he went and chatted, responded to me. He's like, "Hey, you need to read this because it's a super chat." And I'm like,
Nope. I don't have to read crap. Thank you for the donation, Spoon.
Yeah.
I see your sentence and respectfully decline. That's what I said.
King Todd, Mail Beth, I am Sofa. There you go. That's what it reads.
Yeah. Yes. And while you were going off.
Hey, guess what? All right.
We can open another one together.
We can open. Well, I gotta go get my. All right. Do you need to get one? I
got one here.
Okay.
I even have a glass. Look at that.
Yeah.
I came prepared.
Okay, so,
and you know what? Mine's still cold.
yeah. Whatever. So, I don't know.
I'll go.
Okay, you go ahead. Go. You go. Do yours. I'll grab one.
Kansas City Brewing, Kansas City Craft Beers, Ales and Lagers, Kansas City Pale Ale. It's a nice, light ale. I'm not expecting anything big. Says not owned by Belgians yet, which I love there at the top. So I'm not expecting too much. No offense, Kansas City. You fine folks over in Missouri. I'm assuming this is on the Missouri side of things. But I'm not expecting too much from a standard pale ale. Wow, it's really dark.
What is it? I didn't hear.
Kansas City Pale Ale.
That's pretty dark for a pale.
That's exactly what I said. I went Kansas City Pale. Wow, that's really dark.
I got the Closer Talkers Conundrum Red Ale by Three Magnets Brewing.
Oh, Three Magnets. Yes, I've had that one.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it is an American red, so I expect it to be a bit hoppier.
Yeah. Very malty, but also very hoppy is kind of how we do it up here. Excuse me.
Oh, it smells good.
Yeah.
Yeah, malty. Got a little bit of a nutty note to it and some hops. Yeah, all around enjoyable.
So John, you weren't part of this, but when I was opening this one, I said Kansas City Pale Ale. I'm not expecting too much. No offense to the fine folks out at Kansas City. I'm assuming on the Missouri side. Because if it's on the Kansas side, I do mean offense. But I said I wasn't expecting too much.
Yep.
You ever have sour crabgrass?
No.
You ever whacking dandelions with a weed whacker and one of them flies in your mouth?
Oh, that I know that. Yes. Okay.
There you go. That's the hop profile.
Oh, yeah. So you get the grassy dirt. I call that grassy dirt. Yeah.
It's beyond dirt.
Yeah.
It's that oily weed.
Yeah. I don't like that. It's too strong, too harsh. Yeah. Some people think like, oh yeah, it's such a good hop flavor. Like, no.
There are good hop flavors, and there are really bad hop flavors.
That is. I think they probably brewed that and were like, we still got to
call it a pale ale so we can sell it to all the hipsters.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow, Jeff is getting a 3.24 on Untapped. It's not high praise. It's higher than I would have guessed, though. I'm surprised it broke 3.
Well, you got those. Well, you got to say, what kind of beer is in Kansas City? So that's the thing. Those are your people that are rating it.
Yep, that's very true.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, a long time ago, we had great expectations for Google Glass.
Yes.
You got to try it, didn't you?
I did.
I did not. I signed up to be a developer. An explorer and developer for it. I was not picked or chosen. And you got to have it from a friend, right? You got to hang it or try it for like a day or so.
Yeah, got to try it for a full day.
Yeah.
Had all my emails popping up in my peripheral vision. I could clear them out by swiping. drove somewhere, had driving directions on a 3D map that rotated.
See, that was the one that really intrigued me.
Right.
What was the map type thing? A lot of businesses didn't like Google Glass. Right.
And just to be clear, Becky, I said no offense to you fine folks on the Missouri side. That's what I said.
He did say that. So how do you think Apple Glass will fare?
If any company was going to blow my mind with a new technological product, Apple's probably one of the first three I would think of.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And Apple usually does kind of piggyback on, hey, someone else already did this, but they had these flaws. We've perfected it now.
Yes, and not only from the technological standpoint, but the usability and intuition intuitiveness. Thank you. Yeah. The word was escaping me. The intuitiveness of actually using the product
got to you.
I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Right? I was just I'm in that good mood.
I'm right at that just a little loose state, right? Yep. But the technical prowess of Apple, and to their credit or to their discredit, the intuitiveness to the soccer mom level of usability.
Yeah. It needs to be everyday, easy user,
right?
Single button push, basically.
If they were going to build an AR product, they would build it right. And this is kind of beyond a rumor. This is kind of like, it's almost set in stone.
Yep.
September 8th, Apple will have their annual iPhone event, which is always right around that first, second, third week of September. It will include the introduction of an Apple Silicon PC, likely the 13-inch MacBook. Will be an ARM-based, 100% in-house built PC. And Google Glass.
Yep. With the iPhone 12 too.
With the iPhone 12, like I said, their annual iPhone event, but it's also going to include these two brand new products.
And yeah, I could care less about the 13 Silicon Mac. When it said Apple Glass, I was like,
I'm curious about the Mac. I'm very, very curious about the Mac.
Well, okay, it's no longer. Now, is this the 5 nanometer one?
No, but it's their ARM-based in-house developed.
Oh yeah, sorry, ARM.
Their A12X, yeah. A12X, or possibly next-gen CPU, A13, whatever. So sharing the same silicon as their iPad Pro.
So it is ARM-based.
Yes, ARM-based.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, then I am interested. I thought it was something else. So the ARM-based CPU.
And myself, as the only Apple product that I still have and even come close to using, is my 12-inch MacBook, which I bought to be fanless and have a 10-hour battery life and serve all of my general purpose needs. It doesn't video edit. It doesn't do anything else worth a darn. But gosh darn it, if I don't walk up to it, open the lid, and just start using it. And it is really freaking good at that.
That's your daily browser.
That's my daily. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm at the dining room table. I'm eating breakfast. That's what I'm checking my email on. That's what I'm doing my web browsing on. That's what I'm doing a lot of my Twitter and Discord on, is that laptop. Because it's just really darn good at those tasks. Like you think, well, you could use a Chromebook to do that. Yeah, I could. Chromebook doesn't last for 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours of battery life. It certainly doesn't have a standby time of 30 days. It doesn't wake up instantly. It doesn't have all the functions of a PC natively. Whereas this is still a full terminal. And I actually have Boot Camp running on the damn thing. I could boot up Windows 10 on it if I wanted to. And it works. And it works quite well. But that's my daily laptop driver. That's what I take with me. That's what I use professionally for 3 years almost. Was the original 12-inch MacBook. Fanless and just does the job, and super lightweight. So I'm very curious what Apple's going to come out with their own silicon and a 13-inch MacBook.
Yeah, okay.
Genuinely curious.
I'll give you that. That is very interesting. I would be intrigued to see the CPU performance and battery life and power consumption of all of that. Thickness, I would, imagine it to be ultra light if it is an ARM based. I would, if not, 25% lighter than what you have.
And that's again why I'm a big proponent of that 12-inch MacBook.
Yeah.
Is the thing weighs less than an iPad and is so much more capable because it has a full keyboard. It's got a full-size trackpad. It's got a very, very nice usable screen. It's very bright, or it can get very dim. It has the same standby, but it's a PC. It runs everything. I can multitask. I can do everything I want, and there's no finicky interfaces or no I have to save to Apple Cloud and then download to browser. Blah, blah, blah. It's I want to open Photoshop, or I want to open this, or I want to open Chrome and use a Chrome browser, for God's sakes. Yeah. How often do iPad users take that for granted? So, yeah, that is my daily driver. So I'm very, very curious. And there's a lot of people like me. That was the whole purpose of the MacBook Air, was to be that kind of a laptop. And they epitomized that in the MacBook and never called it the Air and never upgraded the Air to be that. And so I'm kind of excited for this product.
So yeah, I'm excited.
And now we're getting $1.99 donation from Big Big Spoon, Game Over, and Unicorn.
Yep, $1.49.
I'm getting stickers.
Yep. Hey, whatever. That's I asked him how much he's already had today. But no, I am very, very curious with your statement. Yep, that made me think, okay, this is now very interesting. I would like to see that. But now my big take was the Glass, because Google Glass was what, 10 years ago, 7 years ago?
7, 8. I want to say 2012.
That's kind of what I was 10. I want to say 10 to 15. It was in that range.
Right.
And so I would love to see what they're coming out. From my understanding, it's gonna be more. They're saying it could be an accessory to attach to glasses, but then they made a comment
2013, February 2013.
Okay,
we're right in that
we're right in that middle. They're stating that it can come with prescription glasses. It's not going to be a separate attachment, or it could be attachment to your regular glasses. It's still, we don't know a whole lot about Google Glass, and this, I think, could be the bigger announcement. And if they do it right, this might help and save a lot of Apple people going over to Android. And being like, oh, Apple is starting to becoming that more innovative product type company like it used to be, because I do feel Apple, the last couple of phones since 7 to now, have been, oh, this is dumb. I just get a better camera. I'm just getting a better camera.
And there is some of that. A lot of it was,
I mean, even look at the iPhone 12. I have now 3 huge cameras and 3 huge cameras and a huge sensor at the back of it. Oh my gosh, who needs that?
You know, the Apple, the iPhone X, the huge part of the announcement was Memoji.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they had planted clappers in the audience.
Yeah, I know.
That couldn't have been more obvious. We're here to announce a groundbreaking product in personal communication and personalization inside your chat, and we call it Memoji. Woo!
Yeah, I know.
They haven't told you what it is yet.
They didn't see what it is. It was like, what is it? Oh, it's an emoji that you can move with your face.
With the 3D motion camera, we can, congratulations. You turned the webcam app, the turn you into a mouse or a fox or whatever that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, you can now be a tiger.
Right. But that was really when Apple got disillusioned to me, and really when they started drinking their own Kool-Aid. Yeah. More than they already had been.
Oh yeah, they were like, whatever we release, we're the best. And
right. So Apple for a significant amount of time now hasn't been innovating. Now, I don't say that from the normal Android fan kind of speak, because remember, when I started this channel, I had an iPhone 6S Plus and a Mac Pro, and I kind of started with that. This is not new me, old me. I'm a PC guy, I'm a computer guy. I'm a tools guy.
Yeah.
I mean, what tool does the job today? I'm not a free NAS guy. I'm a good NAS storage guy. I'm not a Proxmox guy. I'm a good hypervisor guy. If someone comes out with a better hypervisor that's free and open source, I'll freaking use it. Mm-hmm. And that's always been my thing. I'm not an NVIDIA guy or an AMD or an Intel guy. I'm a what works better today guy. So at the moment, Apple doesn't work better, and they haven't been innovating. So I say that from a guy who really watches the industry, and from my own use cases, they haven't been doing that. But for probably about 5 or 6 years, they kind of sat in the, well, let's just take what we did and make it better or more appealing.
They almost did the Intel thing. 8% better, 8% better, 8% better.
That's exactly what they did. It's exactly what they did. But at the same time, they weren't innovating because what do you innovate?
Yeah.
You can't innovate every year. You can't come out with a new paradigm change every single year.
Yeah.
And I say that from someone who very, very much understands that. When the iPhone original came out, when the OG iPhone came out, the best competitor was the BlackBerry and the Palm Trio.
Yeah, no,
those were the two slides that were up on the screen next to the iPhone. And if you're talking generational shift in what we think of touchscreen and smartphone technology, that was it.
Oh yeah,
that was absolutely it. And then they refined it, and it got 3G, and it got a camera that could record video, but crappy video with the iPhone 3G, and a couple other things. And it's like, okay, it's a better phone. It's plastic, but it's also cheaper. It's not $800 anymore. It's now $400. I'll accept that. It's now not 2 gig. It's 8 gig. I'll accept that, kind of thing. Then the 3GS came out, and we kind of went, okay, it's got good enough video quality now where I don't mind taking a video on my phone, where I could actually use something.
Yeah.
The iPhone 4 was the next, mind-blowing innovation. Thin smartphone that was built like a freaking tank. The stainless steel sides and everything else, and a camera unlike anything we'd ever seen in a smartphone before. Even with the 3GS being as good as it was, the iPhone 4 was a different paradigm entirely. The iPhone 4 killed the point and shoot camera industry by itself. Overnight,
it really, the iPhone, I remember really good. People were becoming photographers and artists with the iPhone 4 and 5.
Yes. It had not happened before. And it happened because of the iPhone 4.
Yeah.
And so that was an innovation. That and the iPhone 4S brought in slow-mo photography. You could do 720p at 120 FPS.
Yeah.
In a consumer device that costs you $200 on contract. Like I said, that killed the point and shoot camera industry entirely and overnight. And then kind of the 5 and the 5S kind of cemented those features and made them ubiquitous. And then the Android phones kind of started catching on to we need to up our game. We need to start competing at that level. Yeah, and you can point to Samsung as the one that really did that.
Yeah,
but there's a couple other companies.
10, something the 7, I think Samsung 7 or 8.
Yeah, even going back to the Galaxy 5. The Galaxy 5 and the industrial one.
Yeah.
The rugged or military or whatever the heck they called it. Those were great phones as well.
Yeah.
And so that's really when the competition there heated up and where the others started kind of,
I got to follow along, yeah.
Going blow for blow.
Yeah, and then BlackBerry just died.
Right. And then kind of since then, it's a little bit faster. It's a little bit bigger. It's the same battery life.
Yeah.
We're going to take your headphone jack away. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to make it literally twice as expensive. We went from $699 for the flagship 128 gig phone to 2 generations later being $1,349.
Oh yeah, and all you're getting is
nothing changed.
You're getting 0.3 big, 0.3 inches bigger screen. You're getting your headphone jack taken away. It's 0.2 inches thinner, and the camera technically does a little bit better.
And now the screen is fused to the LCD, and it's all glued together, so you can't replace any part of it.
Yeah,
anymore.
one thing breaks, you're done.
Right, and so yeah, that's the frustrating part. And so that's been the way the industry has gone for literally since the iPhone 6, and we're on the iPhone 11 or 12 now. iPhone 12 is the next announcement. So 5-6 years.
Yeah.
There hasn't been much as far as innovation
so
goes.
During that time, they turned into Intel, and Android kind of turned into AMD. With this...
Right, but again, what would you change? What would you bring to the feature set that it didn't already do?
That's the thing. You have to look kind of back of like, okay, there are these other features or devices that could have done something. Now, I will say, though, their Apple Watch. Apple Watch was actually pretty innovative.
Apple Watch changed the smartwatch game. It defined what the smartwatch should be. Should be, but then other places quickly followed and outbeat them, I think. But no, look at the watch market. No one sells as good as Apple. No one has the feature set like Apple does. No one has the integration set that Apple does, and there's no competition there.
I don't know. I think modern Android ones, Galaxy, because I have a Galaxy or a Samsung one, and it works fantastic. It does basically everything. The only reason I don't have it on currently is I accidentally left it at work, but it works fantastic. And it looks very stylish. It does a lot of cool things. Here's
the deal. And I'll say this anecdotally, but it also bears a little bit of weight. You're only the second person ever to tell me that they daily drive an Android smartwatch. Ever. In all of my experience.
And I will
in all the people I know, in all the industry that I know.
Only reason I got it as a gift.
Okay, and that's the other point.
I didn't pay for it. But at the same time then too, what different features does that Apple Watch give you that these Samsungs and what did you have the
on paper versus usability? Because here's the gotcha. My dad daily drives an iPhone watch, and he's on his third.
Okay. Have you given him a different one?
No. He's tried other watches, though.
Has he tried the one that you had?
Yes. I bought the one that I had from him.
Oh, okay.
Because he said, I don't need it anymore because I bought an Apple Watch, and it's the bee's knees.
So what does an Apple Watch do? I guess I would say
it's the ubiquitousness within the environment. It hooks into everything that you could ever want your iPhone to do on your wrist without also trying to be too much. It's I can do my Apple Pay from my wrist and I don't have to pull out my phone. It's I can use the Siri, and Siri works just as well from my wrist as it does from my phone, and I don't have to pull out my phone for that.
Yeah.
It's the little integrations without trying to be a smartphone replacement.
Okay.
Because what's on your wrist can never be a replacement for what's in your pocket.
Yeah, I know. But so as far as those features, I know my watch has those features. I don't use them because I don't do the Android Pay or whatever, anything like that. I don't use.
So again, if you're bought into the ecosystem, there's nothing that compares.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing. Yeah. And here's a great point. Samsung comes close in features, but Apple still outsells them 40-1.
Yeah, I would say that's probably true. But then,
Samsung's number 2.
Yeah, no, Samsung's number 2, but at the same time, really, when it came down to the watches, though, when I saw those, I was imagining Dick Tracy all the way, and they still don't have.
I want the camera in it. Give me a camera. I want to do this.
They still don't have this, and
give me a camera. Come on.
I will never be 100% sold. The only reason I have one, like I said, was because it was gifted to me.
Right.
That is it. It was a used one.
You wouldn't have gone out and bought one for yourself.
I would not have gone out and bought one myself. No.
I am the person who has bought 3 different Android smartwatches after my Pebble stopped working. And I couldn't go out and buy another Pebble. And there is an open source community and a hacker community that's trying to make them work. And I respect you guys and love you guys. But at the same time, you're not going to get the same API integration that Pebble has. You're not going to get the same feature set. You're not going to even come close. And so don't try. Don't try to sell me on it. If you want to hack around with it, That's fine.
Yeah, and I will say the Samsung Galaxy watches are or the watch I have is an expensive watch, and the only reason it was gifted to me was because, and it's kind of a funny story, it was gifted to me from my boss, who I sold him on Android, and he loved it. He got a Samsung 11, and he's like, this is the best phone he's ever had. He was an Apple user all the way. He's like, I love this thing. But his wife complained that she couldn't send him, because she was still an Apple user, a high resolution video from her Apple phone of their kids.
Yep.
And so she forced him to get rid of all of his Android stuff. And he's like, hey, I got this watch. I forgot your birthday. Here's a free birthday present. So I got a used one, but it was, it's like a $400 watch. And I think it's like a $269. So sorry, it's $269. But still, I would have never paid that price. So, and I really like the features on it, but other than the fact that it like counts my steps, 99% of the features I really don't care about, other than like swiping to not answer my phone.
Right.
Even on Discord, it tells me in my Discord. I love it because it says, "Hey, what notifications do you want on your watch versus your phone?" Hey, I can do all that. Even on the Discord, it's like, read more. So I'm just constantly tapping my watch. It doesn't save me clicks.
Yeah.
I will say I can actually watch YouTube videos, and it has a built-in speaker on it. And so that's pretty cool. I really like that. I can play music, and it has a separate micro SD. I can actually load the thing and play music just from my watch, or stream Pandora just from my watch with the internal speaker, which I thought that's kind of a cool feature. But hey, so it's 10:12.
Yes.
Do you want to bust through these? We got like two beer newses and 2 game entertainment newses. You want to just bust through those?
Let's see. Let me look. So we've got Truly is out of hard cider, or out of hard seltzer.
So this one's a bit different. It's a bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
Truly is the Samuel Adams owned Boston beer company, hard seltzer. They're the number 2 hard seltzer in the nation, and they are running out of stock.
Can't fight the claw.
Yeah, you can't fight the claw, but they're number 2, which is actually pretty good. They will be out of stock for the remainder of the year, so they're actually going to be extremely hard to get. They cannot fulfill orders till 2021. But on top of that, they are now rumored to be releasing an 8% coming end of that year. So end of this year, there should be an 8% hard seltzer. And quickly to follow is rumored and they stated that only Pabst Strong Seltzer and Four Loko Hard Seltzer are the only ones that high. If you haven't seen those, watch my videos on those.
If you dare.
If you dare. White Claw is also rumored to come out with a stronger version as well, coming in the end of or the beginning of 2021. So if you're looking for a stronger hard seltzer with a low calorie count, should be coming out closer to end of 2020 or 2021. Number 2 is a kind of personal thing for Jeff and ourselves, is our local sports team.
I was so disappointed by this one.
Yes and no, because it's a wide produce. That's what you have to do. You have to appease the masses. And the Portland Trailblazers. Jeff is a huge
Portland,
huge
you made a lager?
And they made a lager.
A lager? Not an IPA. Not a. I mean, Gilgamesh at least had the Terry Porter, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well, that had nothing to do with the Blazers, just with Terry himself. But
that's a Rip City thing. Terry Porter's a Rip City icon. At least they had the Terry Porter.
He is an icon, but it has nothing to do with there's no affiliation with the Blazers. This is affiliated with the Blazers.
I know this is official, but a lager in Oregon? Yes. Really? So, that's what you get me.
So Deschutes Brewing is coming out with Rip City Lager. It will be, I believe, a nationwide, well, as far as Deschutes goes, which is a pretty far
Pretty much the lower 48 you can get to shoots.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know how this one will be, but maybe if you talk to your local tap room, bottle shop, whatever, you might be able to get this.
Might be on their list.
But yeah, so I would expect it to be, it doesn't say it, but I would expect it to be a bit of a hoppier lager. It does state 20 IBUs on it, which is a bit of a hoppier lager for a lager style, 20 IBUs. So 4.8%. Yeah. I would have preferred seeing, like I said,
you get my attention
lager.
At 50 and higher.
Yeah. So yeah, not that great.
That's when I look up from my book.
So what is this though? But this
4.8%, 20 IPU.
But this is also supposed to purchase of this beer will also help the NBA and the kind of during this pandemic era of helping out the other part of the team, you know, the janitorial, the laundry boys, all those other people. The part of those funds is going to go to them. So because they're now, you know, less of a job. So that's the beer news. There is some entertainment sports news we got.
Yes. Let's go entertainment because this one excites me.
All right. Yeah, this is pretty interesting news, pretty big news actually, kind of.
Yes.
You do it.
I'll do it. So for those who don't know, G4 was a TV network that was a cable TV network only that was almost exclusively video games and pop culture. And it had a number of very, very popular shows. Screensavers, Attack of the Show, what was it? Cheat Happens. There was a couple others on there as well that I remember watching. Anyway, they went off the air in, gosh, when was it? I want to say 2014?
I was going to 14.
Okay, yeah. So they went off the air in 2014. Budgets dried up, and they said, we have to close the network down. All the shows got canceled. No one found a new home. And that was pretty much it of like, you know, geek culture on cable television.
Yeah, I mean, Olivia Munn made her hosting.
Olivia Munn was a host of Attack of the Show with Kevin Pereira.
Yeah.
There was, Adam Sessler, and who was the other girl on that one? Anyway,
yeah.
Couple other hosts, you know, number of different people on those shows. Anyway, out of absolutely nowhere, G4 TV Twitter, Attack of the Show, and what was the other one? There was one more Twitter account that came back from the dead and posted trailers that said, "We never stopped playing."
Yeah, and there was like Pong reference.
Right. Well, there's a whole bunch of internal show references.
Yeah.
So if you're fans of the show, you recognize a lot of what was on.
Yeah, there was a lot of Easter eggs.
Yes. A lot of hidden jokes, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of content that you would recognize from the show, boxed up in like the Indiana Jones Area 51, you know, sitting there with the Lost Ark. So all of a sudden these came back from the dead, and all the hosts, I think one of them said, "Wow, I'm surprised anyone remembered the Twitter password." It was probably the best joke that I saw. But G4 is coming back in some fashion.
We don't know.
We don't know what yet. But it's coming back, and that is beyond exciting. Because YouTube kind of took over the torch from G4 TV. I mean, it was kind of, this is where you got your tech, console, PC, gaming, everything kind of news, was G4 TV. And this is in the, I don't want to say the infancy, but still the very early days for the very early comers like Linus Tech Tips and...
Well, I remember watching CES on
Newegg
G4.
TV and, you know, what became Paul and Kyle, you know, and so it wasn't that long ago, but at the same time, it feels like a generation ago because it kind of was. You know, this is back when a time when you bought satellite to get G4 so you could watch, you know, gaming news. before it was readily available all the time on YouTube with whatever subject you wanted to cover. And today we kind of take that for granted because you can get on and look at any subject you want at any time. And I say that because we still don't know what form G4 is coming back in yet. It could be an online-only thing. It could be a subscription thing. Maybe it's going to be on Floatplane. I don't know.
Maybe it's on Floatplane. Maybe, yeah, I mean, it could just be an online streaming or a smart TV streaming service show type thing.
Totally could be.
Channel. Could be. It is very interesting, very exciting. There was a lot of cool things. I am now curious, though, because, like you said, it was at its beginning, the infancy of that whole gaming tech industry. Now, what do they have to offer now? Because we have so much. What are they going to give us that the Linus Tech Tips, the Craft Computing, everyone else, all these other gamers, computer tech people can't give us? CES this year is going to be streamed live. All of these conventions are now going to be streamed live. Why do we need to see them versus anyone else on YouTube? Our favorite personalities on YouTube. This is the curiosity of what is it going to be? It might, like you said, it might be on Floatplane. It might be another feature of like, hey, nope, someone else got big enough and they felt that they appreciated it so much that they want to bring it back, and they have a big enough budget. Right.
Yeah, Kevin needs a new job. So I'm sure Kevin was probably the first one calling, going, "Hey guys, you're bringing back Attack of the Show? Really?
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
awesome. That's awesome, guys. Really. Hey, do you have a host lined up yet?
And it might, and actually someone, Michael kind of suggested this, or I at least think so, on the chat, Plex TV.
Yeah.
Plex, I see this.
Could come back on Plex. It could come back on Roku. It could come back on a number of different services.
I could see this on Plex. Because Plex is making a big push for a lot of live TV stuff, their own personal stuff. What was that one channel Jerry Seinfeld was a part of? The Comedians Getting Cars, the original couple of seasons, Comedians Getting Cars. It was like a free streaming service.
Oh, I don't remember what that was on.
But yeah, something like that. I wonder if they do something like that. So I don't know. Or I wonder if they're going to go on one of the new network streaming services like Peacock or ABC or like FXX streaming.
Yeah.
Or actually, I can see this on a Hulu. I could see this as Hulu.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb. Those were the two. Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to remember the names. And Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb, Kevin Pereira, and Olivia Munn. Those were the four big personalities that were on the network. So probably the hosts aren't coming back unless they know something that we don't know. But they seem to be caught just as unaware as we did.
I would say Olivia Munn wouldn't be. She's kind of.
I would say Olivia Munn's probably not coming back.
Yeah. I bet she would make an appearance.
Yeah, she's playing in Marvel movies at this point.
Yeah, so Fox movies, but yeah, whatever. Crackle was some. Axel was saying Crackle, yes.
Oh yeah, Crackle, yeah.
Yeah, are you a baseball fan?
No.
I am not either. I am a baseball fan player. I like playing baseball.
I like playing. I will go to a game if I don't have to pay more than $50 for a ticket. And if it's not a dry stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Those are my rules.
Those are the rules. Yeah, but otherwise, I'm not a big fan of watching. And so with the announcement of baseball starting back up during this time, there was one thing that was missing. And it was...
They couldn't get through the first weekend without 14 confirmed cases in Florida. Like, come on.
Right?
This is not going to last into August.
Well, that wasn't the only thing.
This will be dead by August 6th. Mark it down.
Well, that wasn't the only thing. I mean, they started doing, like, fake crowd noises.
Yeah.
And the only thing worse than fake crowd noises is literally a fake crowd. And they did, like, cardboard cutouts. Well, now they've gone a step further for us for the people on Fox Sports. And they will literally use the Unreal Engine and implement fake users. I assume these are like Sims.
So I will say, I watched a number of the NBA scrimmages this last week, which, by the way, the NBA season starts tomorrow, and I could not be more excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a basketball fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, the NBA has been implementing basically like mass Zoom meetings. So you can join and be a part of the crowd, and they'll take your picture and they'll cut it out using the same tech that Zoom does to eliminate the background, and they'll put like virtual seats behind you, and they'll stack you on some jumbotrons on the sidelines of the stadium.
That's cool.
And they'll pipe your sound into the mix.
So when you're like screaming,
and so if you cheer, it'll be played in the stadium. That's cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. That was really cool to watch. And they're actually saying, if you're a home fan, like we'll give it like 80% home fans and 20% away fans, and so you're relegated to an away or a home team when you host or go to a game. And so even though there's only 3 courts that you're playing on in Orlando in the bubble, there's still a home and away field, and they'll fill 80% of those seats with home fans.
That's cool. I like that, but not for the MLB. Right. The MLB is just going to randomly generate people using the using the Unreal Engine,
using basically augmented reality to fill the empty stands that they're playing in front of.
Yeah, I know. And then they're gonna like.
It's better than the Costco Bears and Turtles that were in that one shot over the weekend.
Although, okay, so with this though, then it started making me think though. Okay, with this technology, couldn't they theoretically portray things being bigger and more popular? Anything, not just sports arenas, sports, concerts, speeches, anything to be bigger than they are. And fill all empty seats and even like, basically saying, hey.
I will say, what I'll say, in real time for live broadcasts, it's way more difficult than in post-production. In post-production, you can make anything happen, and you can make it look fairly realistic.
Live. This is supposed to be live,
right?
But now, if you watch the video of the example they use, it's like the first 5 stands are empty, and they have to pan up, and it's almost like it has to, catch up. Right. But again, that's where it's more of like, okay, if you had a say 50% full auditorium, and you wanted to make it look 100% full, as it's panning up, your CPU and graphics is already catched up, and you filled the blank area because you've mapped it already.
Yeah.
After the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was curious about that. Like, I don't know if I like this or not. Yeah. Of now things can be skewed.
So I've got it kind of playing on full screen. We're doing it as legitimately as we can here. If you've played Madden 2020, you know what fans were talking about.
Yes, it's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look real, but again, from a faraway distance, and if you're on the top area,
and if I'm watching the replay on Twitter,
exactly. If you're watching a quick 30-second snippet, and where half the crowd is real and the other half isn't, that's probably then believable. That's the only part I worry about. Now they sit there and state for Fox, this is the experience for watching sports. And it's like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I like how they use at the end of it the Fox football guy, not the MLB.
Right.
It's like,
that's what I was laughing about.
I was like, you're so stupid, Fox. Yeah. Although that's another thing I'm more looking forward to football.
Yes.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. Another thing of like Google, how do sports manage in this time that we have? Will it change forever, or will it come to some kind of normality or back to what we know as normality?
Well, if baseball is any example, no. If basketball is the example, we might be able to watch the full season.
Well, I'm talking in a long-term retrospect. But like, because we were talking earlier with Google of the long-term retrospect of work and remoting in, where sporting events is a bit different, and you do feel differently there than watching it or streaming it live. Yeah,
right. There's a number of aspects of daily life that I don't know will ever be the same after all this is said and done.
Yeah.
How you buy your groceries, how you get things delivered to your house, the expectation for those services, the expectation for 8 to 5 in the office, the expectation for, a lot of different things. A lot of it's going to change because it has to, because it's been forced to. That's not to say it's better or worse, but it's different, and it's different because it has to be now. I do feel some aspects are better. I do feel you should let workers work from home if they do indeed have the option, and they prove they can be just as productive from home as they were from work. I know I was certainly just as productive, if not more so, because instead of wasting 3 hours a day answering phone calls that I shouldn't be answering, that I should have someone else be answering, and meetings that could have been emails and everything else. All of a sudden, we consolidated everything.
Yeah,
and I got my job done in 5 hours instead of 8.
And yeah, exactly. You got a little bit better sleep too. You probably did. So you're a bit more alert.
Mm-hmm.
So totally. There's that aspect. I don't know. I think within 2 years, maybe even 1. 85% will be back to normal. Maybe
I feel a good chunk of everything will be back to normal. I feel there are some industries that will have changed forever.
Yes. Yeah. Because... I totally think that this has flipped a lot of industries on its head and forcibly shown the amount of effort that they need to have put it in is not necessary. And there could have been a much easier, more innovative way. And then they've also forced a lot of companies to be very innovative.
Right.
In the way they've delivered whatever form of service, like I said, delivery or food or restaurant.
I can get multiple 6-packs of rare beer delivered to my door from the local brewery now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
I think that's all I need to say there.
And I think, and also on top of that, I think state legislations of stuff like that will continue to stay in place. I don't think in 2 years, I honestly don't think they're going to be like, all right, we're restricting that now. I think look, it didn't hurt anything. Let it go. Just let it keep going.
I can get liquor delivered to my door now.
Yeah, exactly.
I can get pre-made cocktails from Applebee's delivered to my door.
And with stuff like that, I don't think
nobody died.
Yeah, no one died. Did DUIs increase? In fact, they probably decreased. So let's continue with that. Right. Other things like that too. Delivery services have become much more reliable now. They have been upscaled to where, when I want to order something, I'm probably going to get it a lot faster and on time. My tracking is going to be way better now. So I think there's a lot of good things that have come out of this and some bad things. Obviously there's actually a lot of horrible things that happened. So, but as far as business-wise, our practices, I think there have been a lot of good eye-opening opportunities for places to grow.
Yeah, I agree. So. And I think that's a great place to end it since we're 34 minutes over. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this one. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Hops and Brews. I guess he's over there. Link is down in the video description. Follow me on Twitter at Craft Computing. Follow him on Twitter at Hops and Brews if you want, I guess.
Why?
Those sexy Instagram pictures, I guess. Oh, no, the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are just like, it looks like this. It's just a beer can tilted.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
You're on angle. On point. If you haven't done so already, think about joining the Patreon. Link is also down in the video description. You'll get exclusive access to my Discord server where you can chat with myself and the other hosts from Talking Heads. That's John, that's Rhett, that's Steve, and in fact, even Tom from Tom Lawrence Systems is on my Discord. eTechnics, yeah, Andy is on my Discord. You at them, they'll respond, and it's literally the best chat that I've ever been a part of. That includes BBS servers. That's how cool we are. We have other YouTubers part of our of the Discord. That's right. How cool it is. Yeah. Also, more than just John. Yeah, right. I mean, as cool as I am, as Jeff pointed out earlier, that I am the better man. As cool as that is, there are other ones. Also, on top of that, there is actually a secret, I'm not supposed to say this, after show party. After show party starting right now. So join the Patreon, get on over to the after show party. That's where I will be hanging out until midnight tonight, Pacific time. That's another 90 minutes because we went late. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this one. Tune in next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news, and we will see you then. Later, guys. See you guys.